of the year.
Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Subaru is built for winter. Symmetrical all-wheel drive delivers power with incredible control, stability, and grip. Add 220 millimeters of ground clearance, and you're not getting stuck in snowbanks. You'll drive right through them. And inside, luxurious heated seats and a heated steering wheel. Plus, for 19 years in a row, Subaru vehicles have earned top safety pick status, giving you unmatched peace of mind. Subaru is engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life.
You know winter is really freaking cold, right? So play it smart. Don't get caught freezing. The
Indian Soldiers champions of the Big Ten.
Power up and save some bucks at Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
Aloha, Edmonton. It's back. Century Vision Care's 4th annual Maui Christmas event on Friday, December 9 to 5. Island spirit to your holiday shopping. Enjoy in-house savings on all prescription and non-prescription Maui gyms, plus giveaways, prizes, snacks, and beverages. Same day appointments are available. Plans, but spots are filling fast. And treat yourself to a new pair of Maui gyms. Visit Century Vision Care on Instagram.
Jason Gregor Show. On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Breeding Village with Edmonton's 5th goal of the night. Curtis Lazar's 2nd of the year. And the Oilers continue to pour it on.
What a magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, the Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. You make your donation of $50. Well, deposit, not a donation. Deposit, and then they will match it at PlayAlberta.ca. We'll get you our Gregor Show boost coming up in a little bit. For today's show, you can always get involved. You can text us 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox. The Edmonton Oilers, hey, they're playing pretty good hockey right now. And this week, at least for the next two games, should continue as they take on the Sabres tomorrow, the Red Wings on Thursday. Two teams that will be playing the night before in Calgary on a little bit of extended road trips. And, you know, the Oilers, hey, they're getting some practice time. They're rested, and they got some confidence. They got some bottom six guys scoring. Their top guys are scoring. Their goals against are down. Penalty kills really good. Their power play is ridiculous during these last four games, 63%, in fact. So lots of things going right for the Oilers. And these two games this week, I think, are important because the Oilers starting Saturday will play 6 games in 9 days in 6 different cities. They're in Toronto and Montreal Saturday, Sunday. Then they go to Pittsburgh Tuesday, Boston next Thursday, Minnesota next Saturday, a week the following Saturday. And, of course, then the Sunday, they're home to Vegas. And then they got Calgary before the Christmas break. So that's a fairly tough stretch, but the Oilers will be rested, and they got some confidence, and we'll see where they can continue to go from there. Also on the show today, Month of Giving continues on as we got a fantastic package courtesy of A1 Heating. It's a high-efficiency furnace. It's an Aries 2-stage variable speed, 97% efficient furnace. Comes with the Ecobee thermostat. All your materials, equipments, labor, and permits all included. A 12-year factory-backed parts and labor warranty and a lifetime heat exchanger warranty. And they'll remove and dispose of your old furnace. So a big thanks to Curtis and everyone at A1 Heating. So if you want in on that, very simple, 833-401-1440. And man, it is going to get cold this week. So if you're like, geez, I'm not sure about my furnace, well, now's the time to make sure that she and he is ready to roll, because do you see the weather? Minus 28, minus 29, brutal. So you want to make sure you got a good working furnace right now. You can text in 833-401-1440. All the money today. We're helping out Operation Friendship Senior Society. So 833-401-1440. And Jim's in already, 1,500, and we are off and running. Coming up on the program today, we got a pretty loaded show for you. Sean Brown, of course, join me momentarily. Kevin Woodley will be by talking all things goaltending. We got Jason Smith, former Oiler, current head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings, coming off a very entertaining overtime loss against PA. The two top teams went at it, went to overtime. Not much separating them. Kalen Collar will join us, talk some NFL. We got Tater, Stephen Ellis, talking about some prospects, which is always good. Speck will be by. We'll get to the oil report. We'll hear from McDavid, Matt Savoy, who's starting to feel it a little bit offensively, as well as Chris Knobloch. We can talk about NFL. For many of you, fantasy football playoffs begins this coming weekend, so should be good as we welcome to the show Sean Brown. Brownie, how you doing?
Good. Yeah, it's gonna have to.
You can lift that up, eh, buddy?
Yeah,
So
well,
you can pull
this
it.
is a real
Oh my
battle.
God!
There
It's
we
like
go.
every week we got to train the new guy. Eh? Pull it
There we
towards.
go.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start to come here a little bit earlier now that Christmas. It's the Christmas time of the year where everyone's out there shopping. It makes it a little bit more challenging trying to find a parking spot. Good thing I brought my wife's car and didn't have my truck. Parking across the road.
Yeah, buddy, it's December, man. You got to get here a little bit earlier. Yes, the parking is a little more of a challenge. So I just get you can walk. You're healthy. Walk at the other,
quite a hike.
Walk at the other side of the mall and just walk through it. There you go. It'll be nice. The rest and practice seems to have been the what the Oilers needed, because they've looked really good ever since getting a little bit of rest and getting some practice time.
Yeah, they look energized. It's a completely different team. You can see what and how important confidence is. Every team out, or every player out there seems to be feeling a little bit better about their game. And as a coach, I'm sure Chris kind of looks down and probably feels a little bit more confident in what he sees. And as he rolls the lines out there, he seems to be getting a lines that have a little bit more of an identity. You don't see those shifts where they get into the offensive zone and it's more of it where it's a one and done. They're kind of sustaining a little bit more pressure, keeping pucks alive, checking a little bit better. So and the big players are playing big. Bouchard's playing really well. So it was the atmosphere in the rink was good. It was positive. And we've talked about in the past them having the ability to, build off of games and build off of shifts. And it seems like they got some momentum on their side right now.
Yeah, they got momentum. They got some confidence. I think they've kind of rediscovered, they break out a lot cleaner. They're not losing as many battles. They're not missing as many passes. They look like the team many people thought they would be. And yeah, that's why I said when the Oilers were struggling, like the Oilers will be fine. Now, you didn't know when it would come around. You did have to look at their schedule, and I don't think I'm not giving them a pass because of their schedule, because other teams have tough schedules, but theirs was one of the toughest ones out there. They still have this one other road trip. And then after that, like, they're pretty much mountain time zone for the majority of the season. I was looking when they get back, when they play Boston on next Thursday. Then they'll be done all their games in the Eastern time zone. After that, they will have, and that includes the Minnesota game, but they will have 7 games in Central time zone, 32 in Mountain, and 8 in Pacific. And I know some people, you travel at all, like the wear and tear all the time does add up. And so for the Oilers to not have to go to the Eastern Conference time zone for the rest of the year after December 18th, that's a big advantage.
Absolutely. I mean, they do travel well, and whether it's the way they fly, and where they stay and what they have access to, but it is a grind. But as you said, every team has to go through it. They really took advantage of the fact that, Winnipeg was coming off of a back-to-back, and, they're not easy games. And I think that, earlier in the season when there was a little bit of a struggle, they didn't have the luxury of having, the depth guys and more guys kind of contributing. It would have been nice, would have made things a little bit easier. But yeah, it's, the season isn't easy. It isn't easy for everyone, especially with a compressed schedule, the way the Olympics, because of that situation. But as you said, every team kind of goes through it. But, you're watching a team now, and these guys are pros, but you can just see what confidence will do throughout the lineup. And, guys are making plays. Guys are feeling confident with the puck. Guys are feeling confident protecting the puck. It seems like they're getting the pucks a lot quicker and first, which makes a big difference. And then ultimately, when they play better as a team, then obviously the goaltending, looks a lot better, and they all look a lot better. So, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to get any easier. But it's definitely when guys are feeling their game, it definitely looks a lot better.
Alec Regula, I haven't seen a lot of them. Right, he's played, I think, 13 games or so this season. Like he doesn't have a ton of NHL experience, but what you see from him, what do you project him to be as a defenseman from what you've seen?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know what? He catches my eye watching him. Obviously, he's a big guy. What I do like about him is that he seems very confident and poised, for a big guy that doesn't have a ton of experience. When he has the puck, he doesn't look like the moment's too big or he's uncomfortable with it. I think his game, continues to grow as he, feels more comfortable in the league and comfortable with himself and just the environment and the looks that he gets used to seeing and feeling. It's hard to get experience unless you actually get it. And, but I his game against Winnipeg, that's one thing I noticed is just, especially in the defensive zone when he had the puck, he looked relaxed, he looked calm, and that's hard to get, that poise and that confidence. And what he's going to be, that's a great question. Because, that's a tough one. I don't know. You look at Podkolzin. I don't know if I've seen Podkolzin developing and turning into the player that he's turned into, which is, a top 2-line player, a very valuable player. So I guess anything is possible if you're willing to put in the work. You can't teach size. You can't teach, somebody that has a big stick, seems to move well, seems to understand how to use his body defensively. And he's got good puck skills too. So what he could be, that's a good question. And I don't know his mindset, his approach to the game, and his willingness to continue to grow. Obviously he has access to great coaching and, it'd be nice to see if he can be a 5-6 or 5. I'd say 5.
Mm-hmm. Because the reason I ask is if you look in his in the last 7 games, he didn't really kill penalties a ton, and then he got back in the lineup, and he didn't the first few games back in the lineup in November. He just wasn't killing penalties, but then he started to get on the penalty kill late in that Florida game, and then it's moved up to Dallas, Seattle, Minnesota, and now he's been more of a penalty killer guy, big body, and so I watch little things because this coaching staff doesn't like to put too much on young players' plates. I know some fans and even some media people get upset about it. I don't think they dig deep enough into looking at how the usage to me is the number one way I can tell how a coach feels about a player.
Oh, yeah.
It's, time on ice, it's the easiest one, right? Especially at the pro level. And you look and you're seeing, okay, where are they playing? Well, now all of a sudden, and their PK was doing all right, but now they're like, you know what, we got to get this guy on the penalty kill. Now he's on the penalty kill. and he's a right shot, which you like to have righties and lefties on the penalty kill, and he's had some success on there. So that, to me, that's what he has to do. He's supposed to be a defensive player. He's not physical. I know he had that one fight, didn't go well. He's not a physical guy. Let's be honest here. He's not going to hit a ton, which at times probably will irritate some people, probably including myself. When I see a guy that big, I'm just like, at least lean on someone. But that doesn't seem to be his game yet. I see more potential in him to move the puck than Emberson, right? Like the difference between him and Emberson, I find is Emberson, I think, is more physical, but I think Regula has better puck skills.
Interesting. I guess, belief is a big thing, and you have belief and confidence that from a player's point of view, but then you have belief and confidence that comes from the coach. And like you said, when they put you out in certain situations and the way they talk to you, a lot of that has to, it brings out other areas of your game. And I remember being in New Jersey's organization, and I remember Larry Robinson coming up to me and we were having a conversation after practice, and he basically, was in my corner and telling me things that he believes I can do, and areas of my game that I could grow, and that he was willing to work with me and allow me to grow. And just that conversation alone, I remember just looking at him and just being like, wow, this guy, he really believes in me. And it just gave you more fuel to continue to work at your game, to try and grow, to add another layer to your game. So I think the coaching staff, by not giving him too much, but by putting him in certain situations, will build that belief in him. And, he's probably never going to be, like you said, overly physical, but as you continue to build your game and coaches, have confidence in your game, you're not going to make it 2 of 10, but maybe you can make it 2 of 4, and you kind of add some different layers to your game. Because I think ultimately for him to be a pro player and to have, a long career, he's going to have to continue to develop and grow in some of those other areas if he wants to be a top 4, top 5 defenseman. So, I think, but you also have to be a player that gives your coach the, you got to build belief in your coach. He's not just going to believe in you. There's certain things in your game you have to do for him to want to believe in you. And I think he's kind of doing that. Like you said, I mean, that was one of the things that I noticed at the game against Winnipeg. When he had the puck, he wasn't just throwing it away. Right. And, especially depending on who you get out on the ice with, you have to have the ability, with certain guys to be able to hold on to that puck to make that play. Yeah. And that's the, one of the differences in them playing well is they're not just throwing pucks away. They're making plays and they're coming out cleaner. And when you're coming out cleaner out of your zone, obviously with those skilled guys, they're not burning their candle at both ends. They have more energy and they're able to be a little bbit more creative because they're fresher offensively.
Well, the other thing here lately, because the Oilers are playing better and the games, they're not 1-goal games anymore. You're able to spread your minutes out a lot more. Like Regula played 21-33 last game. Emberson played 17-36. Against Seattle, Emberson played 19-30 and Regula played 18-12, right? So, and those are your number 6 defensemen.
Yeah.
So it's allowing you to, not only are the Oilers winning games and having practice time, but you're now able to dial back the minutes of your top guys because you're not in a 1-goal game all the time. And obviously, if you're down a goal, well, Emberson and Regula aren't going to be up on the ice very much, right? It's going to be Bouchard and Ekholm a lot more. So I was curious your thoughts on Regula, because him and Emberson, they're both 25 years of age. And, now maybe both of them, they work out and, they'll both be there. But when I look at, now maybe, Wallman ends up being a left defenseman, which he might be anyway. And then they have to have those two guys. I'm just not sure if either one of them is a top 4 defenseman long-term. And that's why I asked.
Yeah, maybe not long term, but I mean, because of injuries and the way the season goes, you kind of need guys to be able to plug in for periods of time. And that's the luxury that right now, with the confidence and the way guys are playing right now, when guys are playing that well, it just, with Wallman coming back, it just allows the training staff and Wallman to kind of come back when he's actually ready, because of what he actually means in the minutes that he's going to play. I mean, if you start bringing guys back too soon, obviously there's a chance that that injury becomes even more. So, I think it's important that the Oilers are playing the way they are, because it just allows everyone to kind of breathe and settle in and come back at a time when they're actually ready instead of being forced.
833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We got 2,700 from Dan, and now JC Glazer up to 5K. Boom. All right. Now, hey, he's like, you know what? Don't mess around. We got to get to face value. Not there yet, but that's good. So we're up to 5K now. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us the month of giving today. We're helping out Operation Friendship Senior Society. We have the brand new high efficiency furnace courtesy of A1 Heating. We'll return with Kevin Woodley on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Your New Year's Eve plans just got a major upgrade. On the Rocks is throwing the ultimate party to launch you into the new year with a bang. The legendary Tall Boy is hitting the stage live, providing the soundtrack for an unforgettable night. A 3-course dinner is available to kick things off before the main party starts. This is how you celebrate New Year's Eve. Dinner and a party tickets are available now. Book your spot online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sandy dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned, with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie, and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
Black Friday deals continue at The Brick. And until December 11th, you can save big in every department. Save up to $1,000 off sectionals, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to 30% off furniture. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an extra $300 off select major appliances. It's your last chance for Black Friday deals. See thebrick.com for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy, from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Ring in the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel. She drives me crazy. With special guests Haley Benedict and Morgan Clyburn. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your party spirit for a night full of hits, celebration, and unforgettable memories. Hosted by Chris Sheets. The countdown to 2026 starts with Brett Kissel live on stage. Get your tickets now at silenticeCenter.com/events.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the table for every family. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. People often ask me, hey Rick, do people actually buy RVs from No Bull in the fall?
Fair question, Rick. Why would you want to buy an RV just when it's time to put it away in storage for the winter?
And I have the answer, Bob, because the RVs at No Bull are used. And that means every RV on our lot is a one-of-a-kind. So when you're looking for a used RV, you can be really picky.
One-of-a-kind means you don't have to compromise on what you're looking for.
That's right, Bob. But it also means when you find the right one, you grab it up before someone else does. Sometimes that's in the fall. But No Bull makes it easy, because when you buy your used RV now, we include winterization and winter storage for free. We even get it prepared for spring camping at no charge to you. All you need to do is be ready for the great outdoors come next spring. When you think of it that way, the fall might be the best time to get your RV.
And that's No Bull.
nobullrv.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
2:24. Welcome back. Monday afternoon. Jason Gregor, John Brown, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Jim is back in at 5,200. So we rock and roll, man. Good first hour here on the Gregor Show today for the month of giving. I love it. Hey, you get prizes. People want to bid on it. It's awesome. Oilers, of course, might be watching. I don't know if the players will, but they might watch a period or so as the Buffalo Sabres are in Calgary tonight. They'll be in Edmonton tomorrow. Then you have the Red Wings in Calgary on Wednesday. They're in Edmonton on Thursday. Then the Oilers will fly to Toronto on Friday. Get set for a 5-game road trip that has them go to Toronto, Montreal, Pittsburgh, Boston, and Minnesota, which is an afternoon game a week this coming Saturday. Now, Oilers goaltending questions that, I know there's lots of fake rumors out there. And one got debunked again that the Oilers, Tristan Jarry, someone explain to me why you think Edmonton would trade Jarry for Stuart Skinner. Just rationally tell me why you would do that. Makes twice as much money. Doesn't have the playoff experience. Doesn't have a long-term better resume. Why the hell would you do it? Other than to make you excited because you think you want to change? You want to make that change, and it's got to be a clear, obvious upgrade. That doesn't make sense. So that's just me. That's why I don't think a Tristan Jarry Stuart Skinner trade is happening. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, let's go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's, where you can stop in at McD's right now. The McVeggie. An all-new era for veggie lovers. Have you tried the McVeggie yet? The McVeggie or the spicy McVeggie. And it is spicy. The Con Man, you needed a few sips of water with it, but it's good. Check it out. Only at McDonald's. As Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Joined us. Woodley, my man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm at Rogers Arena right now. Just got out of the Red Wings locker room and up in the press box. So Zamboni sound like they're out. So I'm sorry if there's a little bit of background noise. Hopefully we don't get the test anthem while we're talking.
No, that's good. Yeah, the Red Wings are playing 3 and 4, and that third game in 4 nights will be in Edmonton on Thursday. So a little scheduling break for them. I want to start with goaltending in Buffalo. So they kind of got 4 goalies if you include Devin Levi, right? And then they got 3 on the NHL roster. Their GM actually came out and was like, I asked them and they said they were okay with the 3-headed monster. I'm like, give me a break. I've never met a goalie who thinks it's a good idea. Unless you're the rookie who would be in the American League and you're like, well, I'm getting NHL money. Even then you're still like, I don't love it. But when you look at Buffalo, what would you, if I got Kevin, you get the keys to your goalie situation. What would you do? Who would you retain? Who would you move if you're the Sabres?
Oh man, that's a big question. Listen, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has done it before. It was just for a year where he had a really good season, and so you've seen his ability to play at a high level. So I'm not tossing that by the wayside. I happen to like Colton Ellis as a waiver claim, but you also got him off waivers. And Alex Lyon is kind of a stopgap. I'd be playing him more. He's got the best of the 3 numbers, and that's a consistent thing with Alex Lyon. He goes into places and outperforms the other guys, and then for some reason doesn't get to play as regularly. So out of those 3 that are with them now, those are the 2 I'd be playing a little more. With all due respect to Colton Ellis, after a great start, and he is a great story. And from what I understand, just like a great kid who works really hard and has made some significant strides when he was in St. Louis, overcoming some injuries. So you like to see him get the opportunity. But those are the two that have played better by the numbers so far. You have the size, you have the upside in UPL. And then, honestly, long-term, I'm trying to find a way to get Devin Levi up there. And I have not watched enough tape in the American Hockey League of Devin Levi. That's, just not enough time. I look at Dustin Wolf, and this isn't just a size thing. They're both so explosive. They both have so much power, and they both hold edges. They do a lot of the same things really well. And I look at Wolf and how in Calgary he has played a much more contained, passive almost positional game. Like he's almost never outside of his crease. But we've talked about this before, both east-west and north-south. And I see when I've watched Levi in the past, there's an aggression there that I'm just not sure you can get away with in the NHL. And so that would be what I'd be working on, whether he's in the American League or the NHL. Like he has the skill, the mindset, the package to succeed in the National Hockey League. I just don't know if to this point he's had a tactical plan that's going to work. And so I'd want to see him employing more of that tactical plan because I do believe he's going to be an NHL goalie long term. And, Lions, they're on a short-term deal, so, you should be able to find a way to make that work.
Kevin, it is interesting because, there's lots of teams that are looking for goalies, and Buffalo seems to have an abundance of them. It all depends, I guess, on how good you think they are. What about the Detroit Red Wings? And, you look at their goaltending, older guys in Talbot and Gibson, then they got the young guy in Sebastian Cossa. You don't have to rush young guys by any stretch, but Wallstead in the same draft class. He's now in the NHL. How close do you think Sebastian Cossa is, and do the Red Wings, should they be bringing him up?
Yeah, I mean, this is one where, again, like you're tied yourself to Gibson. His numbers have not been great so far. Cam Talbot has actually outplayed him by statistically so far by a pretty decent margin, even though he's also on the wrong side of expected, below average so far. They've been going back and forth. Actually, tonight in Vancouver will be the first time since mid-November that John Gibson's going to get back-to-back starts. And so maybe an attempt here to get him going on a bit of a roll. I'm with you. I would want to see and get a taste for the young goalie. And they've got probably one of the best prospects behind him coming up in Trey Augustine. And that's where the decision-making in Detroit has left me scratching my head over the years. They keep stockpiling sort of, guys that aren't necessarily the answer long-term and stacking them ahead of the young kids. And if I'm Trey Augustine and I've heard a little bit of this buzz, I'm looking at that picture and I'm like, why do they, I understand that you might need some time in the American Hockey League, but I look at Augustine and he might be like a Spencer Knight type that just can come in and have success pretty quickly. And all he sees in front of him is all these NHL proven, but not necessarily any longer high-end guys stacked in front of him. They did it the same with Cossa last year, bringing in Jack Campbell. It just didn't make a lot of sense to put those roadblocks in place. And in the case of Augustine, who, like I said, is probably a top 3-4 prospect goaltending-wise in all of hockey, he could actually go back to the NCAA where, hey, by the way, you can probably make almost as much money as you do as a first-year goalie in the American League and then pick his spot the following summer as an unrestricted free agent. So I'm a little confused by the amount of roadblocks they've put in front of these young goaltenders, even though I understand it's a process for them to get there. They're an organization that in the past used to make guys overripe in the American Hockey League. I'm just not sure you can do that when you have that type of talent waiting below your NHL depth chart. You keep stacking up guys even in the American League ahead of them. It's left me scratching my head a few times.
Kevin, that's interesting when you talk about Cossa and the situation that he's in is would someone like that, do you think, would be maybe available for a trade? I know Gregor was just talking about Jari and, people talk about him potentially coming here and the money that he makes, and it, might not be a fit based on that. But is Cossa, if he was to be traded or available, would you feel confident with a guy like that coming to Edmonton backing up Stuart Skinner?
It's a lot of pressure, and it's kind of what Stuart's gone through, right? Hey, welcome to the National Hockey League. You're a goalie on a cup contender, and we need you to perform like that. If they get back to, and they've trended this way in the last couple of weeks, defending the way they did, I like that environment for him. It feels like it's a pretty big ask, and much like Skinner, it's also a hometown ask, right? You add different layers of pressure, so there's a lot of similarities there. Yeah, let's put it this way, Sean. I do know other teams that have been sniffing around Kosa and thought about like, hey, if the Red Wings aren't going to give this guy a shot, we'll happily sweep in if they're not happy and pick him up as a project. We think there's a ton of upside. There's a big difference between that and, hey, come right into the National Hockey League, have no NHL experience, and be expected to keep your head above water behind a contending team. Like that might be a bit of a step too far, but you've got to get that opportunity at some point, right? And just quickly, guys, on Jari, I understand the money thing. I also understand, frankly, I don't think Pittsburgh will be looking for Stuart Skinner in exchange. So you'd have to make the money work for both. One of the reasons Pittsburgh it would consider it is they have Shelovs, who's come back down to earth a little bit after a hot start. But they have Murashev, who is also in that conversation as a top 5 goaltending prospect. And they've got Joel Blomqvist, who, when I did a poll of NHL goalie coaches and directors around the league in the summer, he also graded out in the top 10. So they've got guys coming, guys who have had NHL experience. They would not be looking, I don't think, to take back Skinner unless it's to let him go as a free agent at the end of the season. And quickly on Jari, listen, like health is an issue. Staying healthy is something that I don't think Skinner gets enough credit for. But to be honest with you, if you could guarantee that you're getting the Tristan Jari of this season, I'd consider it, because this may not be well known because it is a smaller, not tiny, but smaller sample, and it's hard to see through a bit of a environment at times in Pittsburgh. But on an 882 expected, his adjusted save percentage is top 6 in the National Hockey League right now. And from a goals saved above expected, he's actually 5th. Like, he has made some changes to his game over the past couple of summers under the Pittsburgh staff that seem to be really taking root. And the proof in terms of results is there from a statistical standpoint. Now, again, tiny sample. This isn't me saying go get Tristan Jari, but I wouldn't be as dismissive from a performance standpoint to the idea that he could be a significant upgrade based on how he's playing this season. I'm not going beyond that, and whether you get that same guy and whether you can keep him healthy, there are very serious question marks around those things. But when he plays this year, Tristan Jari has been excellent.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, Kevin Woodley, about Skinner. He's always healthy, and that's a big deal when you look at the goalie position around the league. You could have a better goalie, but if he's not there and then he gets hurt, like ask Carolina. We got all these really good regular season goalies, and then they're never available in the playoffs. It's not good.
Ask Vancouver, ask Toronto. Yeah. Demko's skating and could be back this week, possibly by Thursday. Toronto's missing its 1 and its 2. Like, this is going on around the league a lot, and so durability matters. If I could just jump in here, Jason, I know I didn't because I was in the room, didn't have a chance to send you topics. I wanted to go back to some comments that were made by Stephen Valaket last week, because a bunch of people got up in my mentions about my appearances here. I shouldn't say a bunch, enough people, and I'm thin-skinned about how I'm always defending Skinner. And Valaket went on a show and said that Jordan Binnington plugged into Edmonton's environment would save the Oilers 16 goals this season. Now, listen, I work with the numbers at Clearsight Analytics, and Stephen Valaket is frankly brilliant, and his systems are brilliant. And I've said for years that, like the Oilers, if they'd listened to some of those numbers, they wouldn't have done the Jack Campbell experiment. They would have had upgraded backup goaltending. They might even have a cup by now. So, but the caveat I really wanted to throw out there, because when Stephen comes on and says, hey, if they had Binnington, it's based on a model they use called crease swap. And so crease swap basically takes a goalie from another team and statistically places him in the other environment and sees what the results are. Now, the part that doesn't get mentioned is when you perform that crease swap metric, the goalie going into the current environment, he's calculated based on this season and last season. So when he said 16 goals, he meant that's Jordan Binnington last year and this year. And at this point, that is basically mostly last year, right? Because we're not even a third of the way into this season. Binnington last year and Binnington this year, as we talked about, are not the same. That said, he's got a track record. For those that were all over me saying, too much defending Skinner, he said it was 16 goals. Of those 16, 6 were Stuart Skinner, 10 were Calvin Pickard in terms of what Binnington would upgrade. I ran the numbers back in napkin more manually without last season, so just based on this season's results, just Skinner, just Binnington, Jordan would have given up, based on shot quality and types of chances, 14 more goals to this point this season behind the Edmonton Oilers than Stuart Skinner has. So, listen, I don't think I've ever come on here and said that, like, career-wise and overall, Jordan Binnington isn't a better goaltender than Stuart Skinner. We saw what he did at the Four Nations, but this year has not been great for him, and there is a risk there. And so when people sort of pounce on that one number and that one metric, you need to understand it's based on last season as well. And if you think you get that guy, like if you think you get Jordan Binnington in the past 5 years with a change of scenery, I'd pull the trigger on that in a heartbeat. But there is the risk. We have seen him literally fall off a cliff this year statistically.
Why do you think that is? Why is he falling off so much?
I don't know. I've looked at and I'm trying to figure out, I've actually looked at a fair bit of video because the numbers say that the environment's actually friendlier this year for him. There are times where he looks disengaged. There are times where he just looks really loose and sloppy in his technique. There are times when he's super aggressive and teams are basically just skating around him and passing around him, all of which is a little uncharacteristic. It almost makes you wonder if it does require a change of scenery. They do have an overall decent defensive environment in St. Louis, but when they break down, the breakdowns tend to be open looks, time and space, and he's getting beat in those moments. Again, a guy walks down Broadway, nobody's covering him, comes out and challenges. There's no back pressure. The guy just skates around him. So I wonder, even though the overall profile says they're a better defensive team than most people might realize for Binnington, which is rare. He's been the one bailing him up for years. If there's moments within there where he's just absolutely hung out to dry, and in those moments he's not delivering, like he did at the Four Nations with the spectacular high danger saves that we saw in crunch time. Still capable of it, but right now that just hasn't happened regularly for him. His numbers are some of the worst in the National Hockey League so far this season.
So, Kevin, when you're picking like an Olympic roster, whether it's a player or a goalie, and you look at Binnington and his numbers struggling, like how much do you look into what he's done that Four Nations and the big moments and the big games and how they've produced in the past? How do you measure that? And, if you're a GM, are you looking just basically at his numbers this year, or how much do you look at what he's done in the past?
I think history matters, Sean. Like, I think the fact you've done it before and just last year when it comes to the Four Nations, like, that guy is there, right? And that's what's made it so hard to sort of figure out why the drop-off has been so steep. And Jason, you'll remember last year when we were talking about the Four Nations, I said that like the previous 5 seasons were why Jordan Binnington was a no-brainer. He was the only Canadian goalie in the top 10 adjusted numbers in the previous 5 seasons. But that last year, the numbers had started to dip. And so he showed, in fact, he showed last year that even with numbers that are sliding in the regular NHL season, he still could be that guy in the big moment for Canada. And that's probably why he's still on my team. The difference is the numbers this year haven't just slipped. They've just absolutely cratered. And now that's 2 years in a row. After 5 years of excellence and being the only Canadian in the top 10 of, adjusted goaltending stats, now he's near the bottom of the league, down with Sam Montembeault this season. I still think, having seen that guy so recently last year, he gets that opportunity. But I'm with you, Sean. I'd want to know, and the beauty is the goalie coach is the Blues goalie coach, and the GM is, and so you'd at least be able to have those conversations. Hey, what's going on here? Is this gonna and what's gonna change in Canada's environment? Do those moments where the Blues tend to crater defensively and just give up time and space and options, maybe more than any goalie can read and manage? That's not happening with Canada. And can Jordan Binnington, in that elite defensive environment of a Team Canada, still come up with those big moments, those big saves, the high danger opportunities like he did for them at the Four Nations? I think there's enough track record to overcome a bad season this year, but I'd want to have other options in place as opposed to, hey, Binnington's our guy, and I'd probably have a bit of a short leash when you get there.
Yeah, well, you look at Logan Thompson's performance over the weekend, him and Jet Greaves. You could argue both him and Greaves could be the second and third goalies for Canada at the upcoming Olympic roster. You throw in Darcy Kemper. I don't see how Montembeault could go again. And Aiden Hill hasn't played enough for me to go again. Kevin, is there any other Canadian goalie before we let you go that you think is in the mix?
Well, I told you statistically what Tristan Jarry's done this year. I don't know that he's in the mix. I don't think he's on their list. But there is one thing he does exceptionally well that made Jordan Binnington a difference maker, especially against the American forecheck, and that's handle the puck. I think you do need to consider that. when you're making this decision, because Binnington's handle and his ability to break up forechecks, even if he wasn't making passes, just getting out there more than most goalies do to stop rims and set up that defense so that they could come back and wheel onto a puck that's perfectly laid down off the boards and start a transition game. That was a big part of what made Jordan Binnington successful. So you need to consider that as you look at these different things, whether it's a Jet Greaves, whether it's a Scott Wedgwood. Honestly, I think Mackenzie Blackwood, after missing a bunch of time early, has been he had one tough game, but he's been, for the most part, and by the numbers, better than Wedgwood. He'd probably be my choice there between those two. And then the other one I keep going back to, again, the team is struggling. It's a bit of a tougher environment, but he's won a cup in a support role, and he continues to produce like top 15 numbers in the National Hockey League year after year. And he also knows the goalie coaching staff, and he's done that sort of pre-scout stuff that I think actually can matter in these tournaments. I told you guys how I remember Tim Thomas imitating Marty Brodeur at a practice for USA the day before the Americans lit up Brodeur and chased him from the net against Canada here at the 2010 Olympics. Jake Allen is a guy that, I don't know that he's on any lists or he's being considered, but I'd certainly think about it if I'm looking for a veteran who can play, who knows how to handle pressure, but also knows how to be a really good support goalie for the other two if you don't envision him playing.
Kev, great stuff, man. As always, we appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll talk to you again next week.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
There you go. That's Kevin Woodley from InGoal Magazine and NHL.com. Quick break. We'll return. Head coach of the Oil Kings, Jason Smith. Next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter decorates a gingerbread house.
Wow. What did you do here, Mr. Rooter?
Well, we've got a Jube Jube toilet, complete with an icing-based wax seal. The main water line is licorice, red for hot, black for cold. You got your standard marshmallow hot water tank and a candy cane sewer line. And on the outside, candy corn hose pips. Disgusting, but they get the job done.
To have your Yule clogs fixed, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
2:48. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a fantastic Monday afternoon. Big weekend in sports. You had some great games in lots of different leagues, including a barn burner, the two top teams in the WHL's Eastern Conference, the Oil Kings and the Prince Albert Raiders. Of course, it was Teddy Bear Toss game on Sunday, and man, the Teddy Bears came down. The score went back and forth. Ends up overtime. Prince Albert gets the win 4-3. But heck of a game. To discuss all of that, we're going to go in the room. Brought to you by Action Electrical. They are hiring right now. One of the most diversified electrical contractors in the province. Second, third, and fourth year electricians. If that's you, send your resume. Careers at actionelectrical.net. As the head coach of the Oil Kings, Jason Smith joins us. Jason, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Very good. How about you?
I'm excellent. I know that, people on the outside sometimes, will say, hey, measuring stick game, an opportunity to kind of see where you're at. As a coach, your team's off to a very good start. Yourself and Medicine Hat and PA are kind of got some big time separation between the rest. Did you go into that PA game kind of like, hey, I want to see how we do against this team? Like, no offense to some of the other teams, but this is a top team. Do you approach it that way as a coach?
Well, I mean, I think you go through the year and you take it game by game. But, I mean, every time you play a team that's, close to you in the standings or around you, you want to see where you're at as a group. I mean, I think it was only the second time we played them this year, but I mean, both games have been very competitive from start to finish, and an experienced team and a deep team, very similar to our group. So it was a pretty good junior hockey game, and we ended up on the short end of it in overtime, but it was good to see where we were at for sure that way. But I mean, it's one game, and there's still a lot of runway left on the track. That's for sure.
Jason, you're a captain for many years. When you're a player, obviously, it's a little bit more intense, I would think, than being the coach. You probably, hopefully you're a little calmer as a coach than you are as a player. But when you're a player and you lose a game that you play well, you're probably annoyed. As a coach, what do you take away from, like, man, this is a really good game, and unfortunately we lost, but it's a good game? Is your approach different as a coach to when it was a player?
Well, I mean, I think as a player, you kind of live by the game, and you have the disappointment or the excitement of the win or the loss. I think as a coach, you kind of evaluate over a long term. You take the good things out of the game and the positive moments, and then the stretches in the game where we played really well, and you can evaluate that part, and then maybe you look at some of the errors and the mistakes and how we can work on things to get better, or whether it was maybe a structural thing or an effort thing, and you evaluate it that way. I think there's a lot of different ways you look at it as a coach, because you have access to rewinding it and starting it over and rewinding it again. That as a player during the game, you don't have that ability to do that.
Gator, it's good to see you, doing very well. I went to the game against Saskatoon, and you can tell it's a very well coached team. Maybe talk about the difference of coaching men in the American Hockey League and young up and coming future NHL players.
Well, I think the biggest thing is in junior hockey, there's probably more room for growth and more mistakes. I think there's a lot of teaching that's still involved, and at the American League, there's, I think, the ability to really bear down on players and expect less mistakes and more accountability, because they are playing, hockey, earning a living, and there's the expectation of, them moving on to the next level, but they're also getting paid to do it. So they, you kind of have to find that balance of how hard you can be and push at the pro level. And in a junior, I really noticed that during the first couple of weeks of the season that you have to, take your step back and recognize that you've got kids anywhere 15 to 20 years old on the ice, and that there's obviously a very big difference in maturity level on the ice as well as in life, and that there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be emotions, and you have to expect that, but you can also have your real core values as a team that you believe in, and you want everybody to be on that same page.
Jason, for you personally, why was it, why did you choose to come back to junior hockey? Was it the opportunity to be a head coach, or what was your thought process in coming back?
Well, I think obviously the opportunity to come back and be a head coach, but I think I really enjoyed the time when I was working in Kelowna and then again in Prince George, and I think getting a chance to come back west was important and be closer to family, and I mean, to come back and be in Edmonton and be in a place where I'm comfortable was kind of a perfect fit to make that move, and expect to kind of embrace a new challenge and see where it would lead.
Jason Smith, head coach of the Oil Kings, joined us. You guys had a pretty hectic schedule. Your next game isn't until next Sunday. You play Sunday, and then you play Tuesday, and then it's the Christmas break. So, a little bit of a window here. When you have more time like this, Jay, what do you focus on? Like, do you have a skills day practice this week and then a systems day? How do you outline your week when you're not playing until Sunday?
Yeah, today we after as busy as the schedule's been, we've given the guys the day off today, and then tomorrow we'll come back and we'll do kind of a competitive battle practice with a little bit of competition, and split the guys up into two teams and then let them play and kind of embrace the value of competing against each other and kind of the competition, and then we'll work at systems and stuff the next day of practice, and then it'll be a constructive workout day the following day, and then kind of a skills day with some structural stuff with some special teams practice kind of the following day. And then on next Saturday, we'll have just a light skate, get the guys going, and get up and down the rink with some pace and kind of tune up for the last two games.
How much film work do you do as a team? And then do you do a lot of one-on-one with your young players?
I think it varies. I think we do team video and break stuff down and prepare the guys for games. And then as a staff, we kind of grab guys, individually and give them some information and some things to maybe work on, and some things that they've done well, and some things that maybe if their game is struggling a little bit, that show them some things that when they were doing, things a little different, they were having more success. I think, sometimes you can overdo it with the video, and you got to find that kind of sweet spot. And some guys can handle a lot of it, and some guys get, kind of down in the dumps if you end up showing them some stuff and trying to correct. And you have to find that value in it, and whatever really works for the individual. But then when it comes to our team stuff, we'll take a time, and work on, show some defensive zone video and transition stuff, or we'll show some O-zone stuff that, maybe we can be in better spots and look to, support each other better and create opportunity. But, you kind of go through the year, and you want to not be over coaching, but you want to give information and help the guys continue to improve. And it's all about finding that right mix.
Gator, I know you've been with a couple other junior programs, but maybe can you talk a little bit about the Oil Kings and, how well these kids are treated and what they have access to?
Oh, to walk into the locker room and, you see the facility, let alone the rink to play games in, but to have access to a practice facility right there where you can be based in one locker room, and, with the gym availability at the building itself, as well as being able to have access to go over and have workouts at the gym across the road there at Architect. It's pretty great facility. Underground parking in the winter in Edmonton's pretty good too. So, it's if not the best, it's as close as it could be to probably the best junior facility in the Canadian Hockey League for sure.
Well, Jason, your team's off to a very good start. You got a few games before Christmas. There are lots of junior teams now that are losing some guys to the World Juniors, and for different countries and different places, and that's obviously exciting for lots of kids and players. You guys are losing a few, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we got 4 guys going. We got Max Kern and and Jacko, and then up front, and then we've got Blake Fiddler and Ethan McKenzie on the back end. So got two guys representing the Czech Republic, and then Blake will represent the U.S. and Ethan's going to the Canadian camp.
Yeah. So all those guys are out for your next two games, correct?
Yeah, they'll be gone. They kind of depart throughout the days this week. So they have kind of all different departure dates based on where they're headed to meet up with their fellow teammates and preparation of, they all have kind of a training camp and some exhibition games before, and then they'll settle in on their final rosters from that point.
And so do you have plans that you work with Kurt to discuss, okay, are we going to bring up a few 15-year-olds in the next few games, or do you have enough guys in the roster that you can just, absorb their play and just move some other guys and give them a few more minutes?
Yeah, we've had some conversations. We've got a couple of guys possibly coming back from injury in the next little bit. And then, we've used some younger guys throughout the year already this year. And, the good thing is we have some leadway into the games leading into, Sunday and Tuesday. So we'll sort through that over the next few days here and make sure that we're able to ice a lineup for those games for sure.
Well, Jake, continued success. Enjoy a little bit of a downtime, and we'll talk to you again soon.
For sure. Thanks for having me. Take care.
There you go. That is Jason Smith, of course, the head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings, who currently sit in first place in the Eastern Conference, a record of 21-6-3. Two of those overtime losses. One is a shootout loss. They got 45 points. Medicine Hat's right behind them with 43 points. And then you got PA in the other division. They currently are in second with 42, but they have 3 games in hand. So those 3 teams are, Calgary's got the third most points in their division. They got 32. Now they do have some games in hand. And so they'll make up for it for the Oil Kings. And like a lot of junior teams now, Zach Hyman was telling us that his team that he owns has got like 5 or 6 guys going. But hey, that's what you want, right? You want players who can have the opportunity to represent their country at the upcoming World Juniors.
And it gives the young guys an opportunity, right, to kind of see where they're at as an organization. I think that's important. But it's nice to it's awful nice to hear Gator's voice, and it's good to see him doing well. When I watched that Saskatoon game, I couldn't believe the structure and the skill. Like, it was entertaining. What a great game to watch. So, hopefully Gator continues to do well, because I think that guy would be so valuable behind an NHL bench. I mean, he was one of the best captains I ever played for, one of the best guys. Man, he was old school. He was, they don't come any tougher than that guy. So, with all the knowledge and experience that those kids are able to benefit from, that was a great hire and pickup for the Oil Kings.
3:00, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440. Let's get to Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Loca and meals.loca.ca. Dinner just got a whole lot easier and tasty. Head to meals.loca.ca, select the number of chef-crafted meals you'd like to eat, and get them delivered to your door every Sunday. So you plan for the week and get them as low as $10 a serving. Meals.loca.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
It's 5 games tonight in the NHL. You got the Lightning and the Leafs. Mammoth host the Kings. Sabres taking on the Flames. Canucks host the Red Wings, and the Wild take on the Kraken in the NFL. Week 14 wraps up in Los Angeles. Chargers host the Eagles. That gets going at 6:15. Warren Hampton waits his return for the Chargers in their backfield. And in the association, 3 games. Kings, Pacers, Timberwolves, Suns, and the Spurs head to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. The Indianapolis Colts will be without starting quarterback Daniel Jones for the rest of the season after he suffered a torn Achilles and they lost the Jays, while Washington Commanders tight end Zach Ertz also done for the year with a torn ACL. In the AJ Whitefort heads to Fort Mac. Big on the Oil Barons. Puck drop 7:00. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by ESPN NFL writer Kalen Kaler and the last 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
We want orange. Give us the orange. We want orange. Bring back the orange.
You got it, Canada. Booster Juice orange smoothies are back by popular demand. The original, the marathon, and orangesicle smoothies are back and bursting with tangy zest of oranges. They're Canadian favorites. Orange, you glad they're back? only for a limited time. So squeeze the day, smoothie lovers, and head to a Booster Juice near you now. Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Your New Year's Eve plans just got a major upgrade. On the Rocks is throwing the ultimate party to launch you into the new year with a bang. The legendary Tallboy is hitting the stage live, providing the soundtrack for an unforgettable night. A 3-course dinner is available to kick things off before the main party starts. This is how you celebrate New Year's Eve. Dinner and a party tickets are available now. Book your spot online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. It's not lost on me that this radio ad
how are you?
a lot of other dealerships on the air. So what sets us apart? Honesty. At Northgate, we believe in giving you the very best price we can with the most value possible. We aren't giving away free trips or paying off your credit cards, but it is my promise you will get exactly what you paid for every time. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and people who suffer brain fog might think it's just going to be part of their life. But listen, I've seen a 38-year-old man managing a concussion read her kid a bedtime story without losing the plot, all because of cognitive rehab that rewires the brain like a GPS reboot. Your brain isn't broken, it's buffering. One missed beat in focus, memory, or balance snowballs into frustration, falls, or forgotten keys. Stroke, concussion, long COVID, even aging can all lead to brain fog. Cognitive rehab works. Check us out at leadingedgephysio.com before your next Where'd I Put My Phone moment.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
After 20 years, Canada's most prestigious international hockey tournament returns. The Camrose Viking Cup, December 28th to January 4th at Encana Arena. Tickets at vikingcup.ca. Brought to you by Sports 1440.
This is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Favorite us right now.
Powered by playalberta.ca. If you gamble, use your game sense. Learn more at gamesense.ab.ca.
At GS Construction, we focus on building a culture of collaboration, innovation, and respect. Our teams work together, supporting one another and striving towards shared goals. We're committed to creating a work environment that empowers individuals, values teamwork, and ensures everyone feels respected and safe. With decades of experience in the field, GS Construction prioritizes our people, our culture, and safety. This is what makes us unique. To find out more, go to gsconstruction.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Monday afternoon, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. As always, it's brought to you by playalberta.ca, where you can go on there at live dealer, lottery, instance, casino, whatever you like, or you can get your Jason Gregor show special, which today, if it's not up, it'll be up momentarily. But it is the Flame Sabres under 6.5, combined with Chargers on the road win. A little bit of an upset over the Eagles. It's Connor Halley's team. We're trying to give them some karma. They need a win. They need a win today. So we will we'll see where it goes. Coming up this hour, we are going to talk some Oilers, of course. Also, we'll update you on the injuries because you keep getting a lot of texts about the injuries. I'll just say Noah Phillips the closest to coming back. Colin Kaler will join us, talk some NFL. Crazy weekend in the National Football League. Some great games, some teams. People saying, is the Chiefs dynasty over? Well, you look at the Patriots didn't win every year. They didn't make the playoffs every year either. They missed so I don't know if the Chiefs are completely done as being a top organization. The difference is they're just not winning the one-score games like they did the last few years. Anytime it used to be a tight game, the Chiefs would always find a way to win. And you look at that game yesterday, you throw it, Kelsey, how he doesn't catch that ball, I really don't understand. And it turns into an interception, and goes from being a game-tying drive to they get a field goal, and now you lose by 10. And they're not mathematically out of the playoffs, but I think they're out of the playoffs. Like, look at the AFC, and first of all, they can't catch the Broncos, so they're not going to win the division. But you look at right now, the Texans are 8-5. So are the Colts, but the Colts are done. Daniel Jones is now out. They don't have a backup quarterback. So then the Chiefs are 2 games back of the Texans, but the Texans basically have the tiebreaker. So they're 3 games behind him. Now, I guess if the Chargers lose tonight, they would say, okay, we're 2 games behind the Chargers. They do face them. So they have a chance, but it is with only 4 games to go. They're not in a great spot. The Chargers already beat them once, so they'd have to beat them by more points than what the Chargers beat them earlier this season, and then get into a tiebreaker, and then there's lots of other things. So it looks very difficult for them to just make the playoffs, and that's going to happen. So we'll see if they regroup. I think they got to get some other playmaking receivers, in my opinion, after Rashee Rice. I don't think they got a lot of guys who are 50-50 ball guys who can, unless your quarterback makes a great throw, you're probably not doing it. And their running game right now is non-existent. So I know Pacheco hasn't played much, but they need a game breaker there. So probably upgrade their offensive line. I could see them drafting an O-lineman if necessary, but I don't know. I can't say they're done. Cons, what do you think? Do you think they're done? Like, I know people want them to be done, but I think it's a little too early to say they're done.
No, your defense is still quite good. You can retool there. And anytime you have Patrick Mahomes, there's no way you're done. If anything, I think it might just fuel them to reload again and go fix these problems. We saw that when they got whooped by the Bucs in the Super Bowl. What do? They draft Creed Humphreys. They go and add to the offensive line. I think it's probably a point for them. You got to remember too, they were also down 3 linemen last night. So the Houston Texans defense is the best in the league with a few linemen down. It's not going to be a recipe for success. So I think they do have to retool. Rashee Rice is your pretty good option. Hollywood Brown, I've never been as high on him, I think, as other people, but I thought Xavier Worthy would at least provide a bit of a deep threat, but it just doesn't seem to be there on a consistent basis. So yeah, I think you got to make sure the offensive line stays healthy, and I think they'll be back next year. I'm also, intrigued to see what the Broncos do the following season, because then, all of a sudden they're going to have a first place schedule. It's going to be tougher competition, and can Bo Nix win those close games that he's found a way to do so this year? So yeah, they're not done by a long shot. You've Patrick Mahomes, you still have a chance.
Great. Just out of curiosity, I mean, they've played a lot of football, right? And they're human, and it takes a toll on your body. Their off season's obviously shorter. They're no different than, the Florida Panthers, right? It takes a lot out of you, and it takes a while to kind of recover mentally, physically, and you got to enjoy the moment too. Right? Is this just something that all sports teams got to kind of have an opportunity to kind of reset themselves?
Yeah, a little bit. I think people forget after the Patriots won their first Super Bowl in 2001, they missed the playoffs the next year, right? And after winning the Super Bowl, then they won the next 2 in a row. So they went Super Bowl, missed playoffs, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Now that was early in their time, and then they won it a lot. But then, after they lost the Super Bowl to the Giants, the next year they missed the playoffs with an 11-5 record, I should point out. And then, then they didn't, they went 3 years where they didn't even win a playoff game, right? But Brady and them were around for so long that, what do we determine, what's a dynasty here for the Chiefs? The Chiefs had a really good run. It's Patrick Mahomes isn't old, right? So I agree with Connor. I think that they're going to be good, but it's hard to win. You're not going to win every year. You're not going to make it to the final every year, right? So it's this year. I think it's surprising that the Chiefs used to be the team that almost other teams were scared of when you got into a close game, that they would always, the other team would bend.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the Chiefs this year that have been bending. They made their big guys have made some key mistakes, bad interceptions, Kelsey not holding on to the ball. They've had at times, I think they're better guys making some some gaffes, which I don't know. Is it fatigue? I can't answer that question. But yeah, I think that their playoff hopes this year, well, not officially out. I think they're done. And they'll just have to regroup and then retool. But yeah, to think that the Chiefs are now suddenly not going to be a contender for the next few years is probably, I think, a stretch.
Yeah. And I think that, all the good teams, all championship teams, have the ability to make the big plays and the big moments. And we're used to seeing Mahomes and the top players, Kelsey, those guys do it. But it'd be interesting to talk to someone that's, been on some long runs, consecutive years, and the toll that it takes.
Football, I wonder if it's different
effect,
because it's only 3 extra weeks, right? And you end in end of January. You got February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Your season doesn't start again until September. It's different than hockey. Hockey has a 2-month break.
Yeah.
The NFL, even if you go to the playoffs, you're only going a month longer, right? Where the NHL guys go 2 full months longer, and it's a shorter season.
Well, I'm thinking more of the NHL, really.
Yeah.
To go, like the Oilers have went back-to-back Stanley Cup, haven't won. And you said that short season, that affects everything. That affects your training, your ability to rehab, get your body back. Not so much just physically, but just mentally, right? And you look at the teams, if I couldn't imagine, what type of summer it would be being a champion.
Well, and a lot better than being the guy who loses. Tell you that right now.
For sure. But
because you're not guys are like, man, when you win, you don't have to work out as hard because you're already in shape, right? So you take some time off. Now you just pick it up. Because I talked to guys in Tampa Bay. Now, they had won back-to-back years. Now, there was obviously the one was the shortened season due to COVID, so that plays a factor. But, you look at Florida. They didn't seem tired. Now, their guys got banged up here. But Barkov didn't get banged up in the playoffs. He got banged up right before the start of the season, right? Kind of an odd, unfortunate play for him. And Tkachuk got hurt at Four Nations, funny enough. Although maybe he was hurt before. He just aggravated there. I'm not sure. But, and then Lostereinen's barbecue injury has nothing to do with fatigue. That's just, unlucky. I don't know what the hell happened. Sound like the propane in his barbecue kind of exploded because it was on the inside of his legs. Right?
What an odd year for that. For guys getting hurt in the kitchen.
Kind of scary. But I think it impacts it a bit. But man, the Islanders used to go 5 years in a row to the Cup. I think sometimes the athletes today are trained better than ever. And I get a little defensive when I hear about, it's so hard. Give me a break. The guys had it way harder when they didn't have nutrition. They weren't flying on first-class planes that lay down and sleep on. These guys are flying in coach, right? Waiting in the airport like everybody else. Is it tiring? Sure, it's tiring. But it's not like, oh my God. I'm like, you want to go tiring? Come and work a 16-hour shift every day a week for 2 months straight in the oil field. Then we'll talk about tiring. You're not home from your kids. You're away all the time. You're not pampered and getting food served. You got to make your own meals. I cover the sport. I accept that it's hard, but I get a little defensive when people act like, oh my God, it's so difficult. I don't think it's that difficult.
It is hard to argue the fact that how well you're paid and how well you're taken care of.
But not even the pay. Just it's how you're taken care of, right? You've got anytime. Think about any people. If you're the mom or the dad and you're the person who cooks at home, right? There's always the joke about, geez, who would have thought that marriage most of being decided is what do we make for dinner tonight? And it becomes it's just annoying. But you're at the end, you show up. Breakfast is made, lunch is made, dinner, or if you're going out for dinner, on the road, it's not that hard. Hey, the toughest decision is, well, which restaurant are we going to go to? Hey, I get it can be physically tiring, but I don't, to an extent. I'm not well, the orders suck because they were tired. I don't know. If you're tired, why can't you handle the puck? Not having practice, I think, is a bigger issue, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if it's tired physically, maybe as much as it is mental. Right. The game, is obviously more mental and grinding. I mean, Gator talked about it. It'd be, as a coach, there's obviously different challenges, but when you're playing and you're going through that emotional roller coaster and reliving every shift, every game, I mean, that's the one thing that, as a young hockey player or just a pro player, that's, if you can master that skill of having the ability to play and let it go. I played with some guys, and I think, a name that comes to mind is a guy like Scott Gomez. He seemed to just have the ability to play the game and let things go after him. He didn't seem to hold on to it as much as maybe other guys, or maybe as much as I did. If I think I look back at my career, that's one thing that I probably could have did a better job of, that I was aware of and was continually working on. But just letting go of games and just decompressing and relaxing.
Not thinking about it.
Not thinking and
I should have
overthinking.
dumped it here. Should have passed.
Oh
or,
man, I played 7 minutes a game, and I'd go over that for 5 hours. It's like, how many times can I analyze that dumping?
I should have dumped it at 6 inches more to the right. Oh my God, I would have taken a different bounce. It wouldn't have come back. Would have made a big difference. I get it. It's, well, it's also, again, there was no offers of, sports therapists a lot when you played early on in your career, right? It wasn't really a thing. You're like, you don't talk. What do you mean you talk about your feelings? What do you mean you talk about how you're struggling? Like, it's not, right? Like, there's none of that stuff.
Yeah, bury those.
Yeah, play better, skate harder.
We actually had a team psychologist in Boston when I was there, and Pat Burns was there the year before. I don't know if he used them that much. He was there based on how much the coach or players would actually use them. And because of my fear for flying, I always seen this. He was a tall guy.
But that you came to Boston, what, like 2002?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was like 5-6 years in the league? So in Edmonton, you didn't have one?
No.
Yeah.
No. Actually, you know what? We went through a stretch there in the playoffs that they actually brought a guy in. He didn't work for the team. They just brought him in for certain players. So it was starting. I mean, that part of the game is still untouched,
like
but that was the
25
introduction.
25 years ago,
Yeah.
right? Like it's,
and even that was weird.
Yeah.
Right. It was like, oh, who's this guy? Like,
and most of you are probably untrusted. If I tell him, he's going to tell the coach, he's going to tell the
almost
manager.
a sign of weakness kind of thing. Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, so I seen this big, tall, lanky guy cruising around the room day after day. And I was just like,
this guy taking my job away.
Well, I was like, just another guy. And so I brought him over. I introduced myself, and then he told me that he was, a sports psychologist and could help not only on the ice, but if there's areas in my life I felt like I needed some help. And so he was very helpful for me. I brought him on the plane, and because he worked with the team, he was able to travel with us. And
so did he teach? So because you had a real fear of flying, like it was like almost like you had the sweats.
Everything.
Right?
Oh yeah, I get right down to my t-shirt and underwear.
Just because you sweat that much?
Like not that I would it was just. Yeah, your suit is uncomfortable when you're flying, right? And so it was just easier, and because we chartered,
what did he teach you on how to handle?
Just a lot of. He just made me really aware of, my body and my breathing, and I remember sitting on the plane with him, and we're obviously chatting, 20 minutes before, and it's quite loose and relaxed, and as soon as you get on the tarmac and you come down and you're getting ready to take off. I didn't notice it, but he did. The fact that, I was clenching my fist.
Yeah.
Right. And my stomach. And he's like, look at your hands. And I was like, gripping them like this, like I was ready to fight him.
Yeah.
And he's like, just, relax. He's like, I bet you your stomach is probably tight too. And so, a lot of
you're flexing more there than you did in the gym.
So a lot of the skills that, and tactics that he taught me, during those first few flights I still use, right? Is just, trying to mentally prep myself to, relax and come down and breathe and, very aware of my body.
Did you have like a flying routine that you did afterwards? Like, did you have gum? Did you eat? So did you try to distract yourself?
My God. Yeah. I had everything going. I had a book going. I had my head, everything was blaring. I had anything to keep my mind off of, so yeah.
Like what if you'd have what if
I would never drink?
No, not drink. No, you're not like Strutty when he goes to the dock. But like if you had somebody sitting beside you, if someone was talking to you the whole time, would that distract you enough where you weren't thinking about like asking you whatever, hey, Brownie, how's this? And get you in the conversation? Did that ever work or no?
I really had to focus, really had to really be aware of and really focus on the conversation because I just had the ability to like look at you and talk to you, but my mind was always
you're thinking, oh my God, we're going to crash.
Like sensations. Cause we all have that. You get those sensations when you're flying and, the way they're moving the flaps up and down, there's sensations that I don't know if you feel them, but I'm very aware. You don't feel that?
No,
oh, okay. No. I feel in
like,
here.
Like if I'm sitting on the plane and it has a little dip, I'm like, yeah, okay, I feel that. Like, and sometimes, okay, put your seatbelt on. There's going to be some turbulence, but like, I actually like taking off. Like, so I don't have a fear. So I can't relate to that at all. Like for me, I kind of enjoy that. Oh, here we go. And then you're off. I'm like, okay, great. Yeah. And I've like, luckily, knock on wood, I've never had a horrific flight. Like I had one flight when I was younger that had a little bit of turbulence and, you end up throwing up in the barf bag. So that wasn't great, but I've never had a fear.
I
like,
couldn't imagine.
Like, so were you scared the very first time you flew? Or did you have a bad flight that led to you?
Yeah, I think I was scared. I mean, on that same flight that I was scared, I got more scared when we were coming through the clouds and we dropped. It felt like we dropped 1,000 feet. We probably dropped
10
5 feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was like, whoa, like that freaked me out. You know, so
from the very first, because how old were you when you had your first flight?
Yeah, I was probably about 16.
16? And the very first flight you were nervous?
Yeah, the very first flight I was kind of nervous.
Are you scared of heights?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah. I just seem to be, I'm kind of scared of everything. Like I remember having I remember my roommate, I roomed with Scott Ferguson. I hate being scared. Right.
Okay.
And he would always
hide around the corner.
He would be the guy that would get the key first, and he'd run up to the room and he'd hide in the closet or hide in the bathroom. And I knew it was coming. And it worked every time. I'm like, mercy, Scott. Like, you know, but it just that
So does your kid or your wives ever scare you around the house?
No. But unfortunately,
like, are you one of those guys, like if you're scared, like are you throwing haymakers when you're nervous?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So don't jump out on Brownie around the corner.
Don't scare me or tickle me. I hate being tickled.
Well, I'm not going to tickle you like this. Not there's anything wrong with that, but it's not. Gavin Tate just comes by.
Yeah.
Oh God. That is too funny. But it's interesting. So your team, really good team, is. I'm just going to try to scare the fear out of you, Brownie.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, that's one of the nice things about, teams and teammates is the relationships and the things that you do. You get to play a game and you never really have to grow up. That's the best thing about playing a sport, right? I imagine, at all different ages, whether you're a veteran or a young guy, the opportunity to be around young people and play a young man's game keeps you young.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. 833-401-1440. We're up to 5,700 now from Jim on our auction item today, courtesy of A1 Heating, where we have a fantastic package. It's it's a high efficiency furnace. The Aries 2-stage variable speed, 97% furnace comes with an Ecobee thermostat. All the materials, equipment, labor, permits, all included. You get a 12-year factory-backed parts and warranty. Labor, as well as a lifetime heat exchanger warranty, and they'll remove and dispose of your old furnace. We're helping out Operation Friendship Senior Society today, and we're up to 5,700 with Jim. We'll take a quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
They are nice, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
I'm making my list, checking it twice. And guess what? I'm giving Will Hawk beef jerky to everyone, naughty and nice. Because honestly, everyone deserves a taste of Alberta's finest, no matter if they've been bad or good. So this holiday season, skip the chocolates and pass on the turkey. Make sure you're Will Hawking around the Christmas tree with Alberta's best beef jerky. Ho, ho, ho!
Call to place your pre-order today at 780-986-2537.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado,
There's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.328. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor. We got a lot of people texting. Few in the Brownie Club for not liking flying. I get it, man. That would not be a fun fear to have because if you want to travel to lots of places, eventually you got to fly. So it limits it, but you still go traveling. You just don't like it when you have to get on the plane.
I was just going to say, I don't think, as much as I don't like flying, it will never stop me from not going somewhere. Right. So it's something I can kind of deal with, but it is a big phobia that a lot of people have a fear of. I wish I wasn't just so obvious. It sucks for me because if you look and see me
on the plane,
everyone on the plane, I'm sure
do
it's like,
you have to sit,
weirdo.
You have to sit in the aisle seat. You have to sit in the middle. Like, where do you feel most
I don't.
comfortable?
Well, I mean, it doesn't. I find if I sit on the aisle, right, broad shoulders, big guy, I'm always bumping into someone or the cart or whatever. So I like to control. I don't like the window open, right? So I like to make sure that the window's shut because I just,
if you
like I said, I'm hypersensitive to, sounds, everything, right? So if I can see the windows open, I don't like that feeling.
Okay.
So I find that if even though you're squished on the window seat, at least I can control the window.
Okay.
You have no control if you don't.
No, that's fair. Okay, I get it. Let's get to our football report now, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. Your furnace conk out middle of the night on the weekend, give them a call. They'll come fix it. No OT. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. And the NFL week finishes up tonight. The Eagles, who have been struggling, losers of 2 in a row, blew a huge lead against the Cowboys. They're taking on the Chargers. We're getting some healthy bodies back. Big game for both, and probably a bigger game for the Chargers when you look at the playoff race, especially in the AFC. To discuss that and a weekend of some very important games, we are joined by ESPN senior writer Kaylin Kaler. Kaylin, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hey, doing well. How are you guys?
We're good. Now, before we get to tonight's game, you were at the Green Bay Chicago game, and I was trying to remember, when was the last time the Packers and the Bears had like a meaningful regular season game when both were good?
It's been like 5 years, I think, at least since the Matt Nagy Bears, I think was probably the last time that they had a meaningful matchup, which doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but in the scheme of the rivalry, I feel like, it was actually, it's been a significant amount of time. So It was really fun to have, it was fun to have the energy back and the trash talking back and, the meaningful stakes back, because obviously whoever was going to win yesterday was going to take control of the NFC North. And that was the Packers, who now sit at the top of the division. And so, the Bears had a great opportunity to finally sort of silence all the questions about, are they actually a good team or are they kind of like a fraud good team? Which I actually think most teams this year are fraudulent. Like most good teams this season have turned out to be kind of fraudulent. But the Bears had a great opportunity. It was right in front of them. And honestly, it comes down to the defense. I think for Chicago, their defense struggled all night. They couldn't pressure Jordan Love barely at all. And that was the difference maker. I mean, Caleb faced pressure from Micah Parsons, but their offense, they designed a lot of play action, a lot of boot on offense to get him on the run and get him out of Micah Parsons' way. So Parsons had got a ton of pressures on the night, but didn't, really influence things too much, other than, forcing Caleb to run, which he actually he played pretty well on the run. But the difference came down to the Bears defense just could not pressure Jordan Love. He threw a pick on the first drive, and then after that, he was great the rest of the game, and they just did not play well in the secondary. So, these are not problems that are new to the Bears. The Bears knew they were weak in these areas. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens in 2 weeks when the Packers go to Soldier Field. But post game, I thought there was a really interesting quote from Packers running back Josh Jacobs. I asked him, I was like, hey, he was on the Packers last season as well. And I was like, what's the difference in this Bears team? How would you describe it? And he said, well, offensively, they've taken a huge step. But he said, the biggest thing I've noticed is a mindset change. He said, the Bears now are playing like they actually have a belief of a winning culture. And that was his exact quote, which I thought was really interesting because it was sort of it was a compliment to these Bears, but it was also kind of a dig at last year's Bears, who apparently did not play like they thought they could win. So I thought that was a really interesting quote from a division rival.
No, very true. And, that's a competitive division. It's, the NFL playoff makeup. You got the Packers, the Bears, and the Lions in the NFC North.
Yeah.
And then you got the NFC West and the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers, who even have better 3 combined records. And one of those 6 teams is going to miss the playoffs because somebody from the NFC South and then the Eagles, or I guess maybe the Cowboys from the NFC East, they're going to represent their division. Like, it's wild to think you got all these good teams and one of those 6 is going to miss the playoffs. And the Bears might have the hardest schedule down the stretch.
Right. I mean, they've got what should be an easy game this Sunday. They have the Browns next. But, we have to remember back to, I don't know, what was it, week 3? The Browns beat the Packers. So anything could happen. Although that was a different quarterback then. That was Joe Flacco. And now it is Shedeur Sanders. So who was just named the official starter for the rest of the season today. About time. It took them like 2 weeks to decide that, which is, I actually didn't even realize they hadn't announced that yet until I saw everybody tweeting about it. I'm like, wait, what? They didn't say he was the starter for the rest of the year? Like, what are we doing? Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how the NFC North shakes out.
Going ahead to tonight's game, the Eagles and the Chargers, and the Chargers obviously in a dogfight in the AFC. Even the Eagles, like, if they lose this game, suddenly Dallas is really only like a game and a half behind them because of that tie. And they've been struggling lately. Saquon Barkley, their run game has been almost non-existent. Kaylin, how can it get back on track? Do you think it can tonight against the Chargers?
I mean, I think what's plagued the Eagles a little bit this year is their offensive line health. I mean, it's kind of like the Lions. These are 2 teams that really, really relied on offensive line depth, and just the strength of their starting offensive line in the last couple seasons had just been head and shoulders above any other team in the NFL. I put the Lions and the Eagles offensive line up there, over the last few seasons with anybody. And they sort of ran their offense through the strength of that offensive line. And you've seen the Lions struggle offensively this year for the same reason. And I think the Eagles have had the same problem. They've had multiple starters on offensive line dealing with injuries this season. And I think that has been, one of their main problems. And then, this will be a really interesting game for them. They've, as you pointed out, they've got to get their run game going. They've got to get Saquon Barkley at least a significant number of touches. There's even been games this year where they just got away from even giving him the chance to run the ball effectively. So I think that's obviously going to be the key for the Eagles. And we'll see. If I saw that they put a positivity bunny in the locker room, which was so odd. I was like, what am I looking at? It's like an inflatable Easter bunny right in front of Saquon Barkley's locker. I think the offensive line put it there. So we'll see if the positivity bunny will bring good vibes to them. But it looks like Justin Herbert is supposed to play tonight, which is really good for the Chargers. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. And I feel like every year he's either hampered by an injury or by injuries to other players on his team and just can never achieve the success that I think he deserves. So I'm glad that he's not going to miss a game with that left hand injury that he had last week.
Jason Gregor and I were talking about KC and, the stars on KC, Mahomes and Kelsey. Have they plateaued? Do you see this team, obviously they're on the outside looking in. Is this something that they just, mentally and physically played a lot of football in the last number of years? And do you see them, making some changes next year, or is this just a blip?
Yeah, I mean, I think Travis Kelce's going to retire. I think the writing's on the wall there. And even if for some reason he decides he doesn't want to and he wants to keep playing, I think it would be in the Chiefs' best interest to move on from him. I don't have his contract info in front of me, but they would be paying him a lot to be contributing. I mean, as it is right now, not a ton to that offense other than, the intangibles that he brings, which are obviously very valuable. But at this point, he has clearly slowed down. Last night was bad for everybody on that offense. There were so many incompletions that were catchable balls, but particularly the one to Travis Kelce that bobbled and became an interception. That's not good. So I think it's pretty clear that the Chiefs and Travis Kelce are going to, that this is it, that this is probably the last season, which is a bummer because, it would be nice to see them, them have success with him in the last year. But, and apart from that, it's hard to put a finger on what is the problem for the Chiefs. I mean, they had 2 backup tackles last night, which is obviously not good for your offense, for your quarterback. And one of which is, if you just want to tell one quick anecdote about what's gone wrong for the Chiefs this season, they selected Josh Simmons, their rookie tackle at the end of the first round. And he's a really good player when he's on the field, but he had concerns coming, teams had concerns about off the field things with him, sort of just kind of football character. How much did he love football? How much was he committed? Could he handle being a professional athlete and the level of dedication that NFL requires? Those were the questions that scouts had about him. The Chiefs took a risk on him because he was available late in the first round, which is a great value for him. But then he went missing for 4 games. He left the team for 4 games in the middle of the season, 4 important games, in the middle of your regular season. And you can't pin it on, you can't say, oh, that's the reason that they're struggling. And now he's hurt and he's on injured reserve. So, obviously that's out of his control. But I think that's an example of something that's gone wrong for them this year. And you look at Rashee Rice too. They were without him for the first 6 games of the season, and he's helped their offense since being back. But that was another character risk. They knew, the risk in drafting him and selecting him. And, he had his incident where he's, speeding, gets into a car accident, faces, I think it was criminal charges from that, and then is suspended for it. So I think some of their player, I think some of the things that have plagued them too is taking a risk on character concerns that worked out for them in the past. And this season, they've seen multiple players miss significant time because of it.
Kaylin, going back to the Eagles, and when a team is at the top, some people are always looking to find ways to break them down. And I see a lot of people write, "Oh, the Eagles, they don't look happy. There's infighting. There's lots of disagreements, and they're 8-5. It's not like they're terrible by any stretch of the imagination." What do you make of the Eagles overall this year? And just kind of, last year they started out terribly and then they got on a heater and went all the way to the championship. So they've shown that they could maybe just flip a switch at some point. But where do you see the Eagles? Do you have them still? Are they in the category of the Rams and the 49ers and the Seahawks and, even the Packers? Or are they a step below?
I think they're maybe a tiny step below where I would see Bears, Packers, Seahawks, and Rams right now, but not far off because it's so hard to read the Eagles. I mean, because every single year this happens where they all appear to hate each other and they're talking to the media and they're giving out quotes and, AJ Brown is saying this and AJ Brown is saying that and Saquon Barkley is saying this. And I feel like I feel like they go through this every other year. And then they still end up, making the playoffs, getting to the Super Bowl, and having a successful year. So it's hard to determine like what is an actual problem with this team and what is just like, kind of the typical nonsense, which I think comes with being in the Philadelphia market. It's kind of like the New York market where, there's a ton of media, the fans care so much. I mean, the freaking offensive coordinator, his house got eggs this week. I mean, that's what you deal with in Philadelphia. So it is really hard to tell if this is like a genuine concern or not. But I do think that like the Bears game loss was concerning on several levels of just, them having offensive struggles. And so I think tonight's game is going to show us if this is like last year and everything's going to be okay, or if this is like 2023, where, they were fine for like 10 games and then lost, 5 in a row to end the season, and then went out in the wild card round to, I believe, the Buccaneers in 2023. So I think after today, we're going to get a better idea of what is going on with these Eagles.
Kaylin, great stuff. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the game, and hopefully no one eggs your house. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks so much. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. There's Kaylin Kayla. I did not know about the egging. Come on, fans. You're taking it a little bit too serious at that point. It is, at the end of the day, it's sports. We care about it. We love sports. It's obviously why we do it, but not egging might be a little bit too much. JC is up to $6,000 for our month of giving package today, courtesy of A1 Heating. As we continue on, it's the Jason Gregor Show. You can always get in on that, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It's the high-efficiency furnace from A1. It's an Air Ease 2-stage variable speed, 97% efficient furnace. Comes with an Ecobee thermostat, all materials, equipments, labor, permits, 12-year factory back parts and labor warranty, and a lifetime heat exchanger warranty. And they will dispose and remove of your old furnace. They do a great job. So we're helping out Operation Friendship Senior Society today, and we are at $6K from JC. Take a quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hold up. Are you pulling my beard? Booster Juice has 2 new booster balls for the holidays this year.
That's right, Santa. The Eggnog Booster Ball and Caramel Pecan Pie Booster Ball are 2 new flavors to put some extra jingle in your step. So are you a pie guy, Santa, or a nog guy?
Both!
Good call. That's extra jolly. Happy holidays from your friends at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
In the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel. She drives me crazy. With special guests Haley Benedict and Morgan Clyburn. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your party spirit for a night full of hits, celebration, and unforgettable memories. Hosted by Chris Sheets. The countdown to 2026 starts with Brett Kissel live on stage. Get your tickets now at silenticecenter.com/events.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
I never met.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Enjoy a taste of Hawaii with Papa John's Aloha Trio. Try the classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizzas for only $19.99 each at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.348, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday afternoon. It's going to get a little chillier later on this week, so enjoy it. You know, hey, we live in Edmonton. We always have a few weeks of cold. None of us love it, I don't think. Maybe, well, you know what? Maybe the tow truck companies do. A few cars breaking down. So, you know, like anything, you got all different types to make the world go around, but hopefully it's short-lived. I don't mind, you know what, -20, I can live with it. It's the -30 where it's like, okay, that's when the dog is like literally sprinting out the backyard, doing their business and back in. That's when you know it's cold. That's when you know it is really cold. 833-401-1440. You can text us your thoughts on a variety of things. NFL, hey, how many of you? Are you confident? How many of you actually, you know what? We haven't even discussed this. How many of you need points tonight to make your fantasy football playoffs? Because most fantasy, I'm going to say the good leagues, their playoffs start this coming weekend. Because you don't want to have your final when in week 17, 18, when teams are sitting guys out. That's the worst. You have a good team all year long. Now you're starting quarterbacks on the bench, or you're starting receivers on the bench because the team's clinched playoffs. Doesn't make any sense. So you should be starting your playoffs this weekend for sure, unless you only have 2 rounds of playoffs.
So the NFL actually rests their stars going into the playoffs?
Oh yeah, some teams do. Like they'll sit a guy down, right? Or just be limited snaps here or there. Like now, it's always funny. Not all teams do.
Yeah.
Tell me a time that Tom Brady ever came out of games in New England. Like they'd be at 55-0 over Buffalo, and he was still in the game, right? And people are like, oh, I'm like, no. They had their mindset was we play the full game, and our starter's gonna. I know there was the odd time he came out, but very rare. Like they're at 55-0. He wasn't taken out at 42-0, 55-7. Nope. He's still in there. I remember it. And because people are always like, oh, you take him out, he's going to get hurt. Once you start thinking you'll get hurt, that's when you get hurt.
Yeah. How much would that suck, though, from a fan's point of view, that you have bought a ticket. Maybe that's your first NFL game. You're hoping to, like, you're paying to go see those guys and they're sitting.
Well, the NHL, Connor McDavid and Draisaitl sat out game 81 last year. Right? It'll happen. You'll rest a game here or there. So the fans of the home team probably doesn't care because they got playoff games coming up. But yeah, if that was their only game of the year, they'd be disappointed. But what are you going to do? There's not.
Yeah.
I get why at certain times they'll be like, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll sit a guy out for tonight.
I kind of like New England's way of looking at it, right? Where it's like, hey, you start the season, you end the season, you play guys. I'd be scared of something, that you don't want to have happen because you're trying to be overprotective.
I totally
it's almost
agree with
better.
You. Yes.
My approach would be like, let's just play.
Yes.
Let's not play to get hurt. Let's just play the
because
game.
you don't think about when you to skate on the ice day, you weren't like, oh, geez, hope I don't get hurt today.
You get hurt all the time.
Yeah. So you don't think about it. You just go like, hey, let's go play.
Yeah,
exactly. So let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Saving you more. That's what they do. Furniture, mattresses, appliances, and big screen TVs. And we got a great package from The Brick tomorrow in Month of Giving. You can check it out at jasongregor.com. That's The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, question number 1. I think we'd all agree the Oilers playing better hockey as of late. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not back, 10 being the team that made it to the Stanley Cup final, how back are the Oilers?
That's I mean, they definitely look and feel like a different team. Gregor, you're around the room. It has to be a much better feel in the dress room. I know what it's like when you're winning and you're losing, and there's no worse place to be in the dressing room when you're losing, and there's no better place to be than in a hockey rink when you're winning. I don't know if I would get too, at a scale 1 to 10, I would say maybe 6. I mean, it's been a couple games. I think, they've been building a little bit, even throughout the losses to their game. But I don't know if I would get, I'll go with a 6 for myself. There's still tons of room for improvement, defensively, offensively, in all areas of their game.
I am going to say I think they're at like you can't give them a 10 until they're in the playoffs for me, and maybe if you're in the conference final, there's a long way to go from there. So I would say the order I'd give them a solid 7.5. They have because lots of areas of their game that I thought they were capable of doing, they've done here lately. Right, being better, like they haven't been lights out, unbelievable defensively, but they've been pretty solid defensively. Obviously, forwards have been scoring a lot more lately. I'm sure they might want to wear their third jerseys more. They've played 3 games, they've won all 3, and they've scored 21 goals when they wear those jerseys. So not bad.
How sharp do they look?
They do look pretty good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. They look better on the ice than they did originally when they came out, I think.
What about the merch? Like, I've never been a guy that really wears NHL gear.
You don't wear a brown 23 jersey to the game?
No, just to your party.
Oh, yeah.
But when I was at the game Saturday, I was looking at the merch and stuff, and it's come a long way. Like, there's some great quality merchandise that they have. It's
first time in a store recently?
No, I've never really paid attention to it, but it
okay.
just kind of caught my eye. Obviously the jersey, but just, I think from when I played, I think, the marketing and I don't know what brand it is, but the quality of it looks really good.
It's Fanatics, right?
And I guess I pay attention to it more because my daughter's now into it, right? And she's
yeah.
always looking to wear and
what's the trendy stuff?
Yeah. So it looks good.
Well, they have lots of different coats now, and blazers and lots of different things. You can get almost anything in the team colors, which I get it. Fans they want to support their team, but they want to do it more in just a jersey.
Yeah.
So that makes
who's had the influence on that? Would that be McDavid's wife, or is that separate?
No,
because she's kind of
separate.
Oh, okay.
No, that's the league. Like that, those things have been out for quite a while. Like,
okay.
The shiny coats that they have for the Oilers, like they have those blue retro ones. So you can just get in a lot of different places. The Oilers store, when they opened it at the new rink, is kind of when they started. And really, it's been in sports all over, right? It wasn't like the Oilers are the only team.
Yeah.
Right? They look around and other teams are doing it, and then everybody just kind of copies. Oh, that team does this. Okay, let's get one of those.
Yeah.
Question number 2 for you guys. I'm going to start with this. Leon Draisaitl, his career high in points in a single game is 6. 5 times he's had 5 points. He needs 7 points to get to 1,000 in his NHL career. When does he get to point 1,000?
Yeah, Buffalo. They should win that game.
Mm-hmm.
They should have won that game last time when they were in Buffalo. They got some teams where he can put up some points. It looks like they're going to be on the road. He's definitely going to get it before he's back home. Maybe I would say.
So you're saying he can't get 4 points and 7 points in 2 games at home? Can't go 3-4?
I don't think so. I will say I can't. I don't want to see him get it against the Leafs. I love the Leafs. I hate Montreal. Maybe against Montreal.
Well, the Habs one makes sense because then he could go 2 points a game on average in the first 3 games. 2 points a game is still hard to do on it. You get 6 points in 3 games. It's kind of difficult to do, but they're feeling it right now. Their power play is absolutely on fire right now. It's 63% in the last 4 games. So if they can generate some power play opportunities, usually he's involved on the power play. Matt Savoy's starting to heat up a little bit offensively, one of his wingers. So I'm going to say he's got Buffalo, he's got Detroit. I'd like to see him do it at home, but I'm with you. 7 points in 2 games. Possible, yes. Do I think he's going to do it? But I will say he does it in Toronto because I don't want to copy you.
What about Podkolzin taking a little bit out of his game and where he's scoring some of his goals?
Buddy Podkolzin, I was at the rink early this morning just because I had a meeting close by. And so I got there and I was writing an article. And the first guy on the ice this morning is Podkolzin. He's down there. He's working with skills coach Connor Halley. And I've been seeing Podkolzin works a ton. His players always talk about, like, this guy's always working on his game. He's really been working on one-timers. And then he spent a lot of time picking pucks off the wall. It's such an underrated skill, and it's so important now. Like, I remember when Adam Oates told us, you know how much of the game is played on the boards. And ever since he told me that, I watch a game, and there's so much time spent on the wall that you got to be good at, you got to be able to pick up pucks clean repeatedly over and over again off the boards. And so he was working on that. He's working on redirections and deflections off that side. So yeah, he's, you know what, his game's coming around, but he's putting in the work. Like, I'm a big believer. If you want to score more, you got to work on your hands in the scoring areas.
I don't think there's a more improved player to me than Podkolzin. Watching him, each time I watch him, his game just gets better and better at his puck protection, the way he makes plays, his confidence. I mean, that's just, for anyone that's playing hockey that is struggling, that guy is someone that lots of young players should look at, because he was struggling in Vancouver, was he not? Like, he was in the doghouse. I don't think he was Talkett's guy.
No, him
right?
and Talkett didn't get along.
And the change of scenery, like, you know, that guy could play on any team right now, the way he's playing.
Question number 3, lots of movement in the NFL playoffs. It's crazy. You can win or lose a game and jump up spots. Right now, but if you had to predict the 7 playoff teams in each conference, who do you think gets in?
I'm not, you know what?
Well, in the AFC, you've got the Broncos, the Patriots, they're in, I think, for sure. The Jags, I like where they're going. I think they're going to get in. The Bills, I think, are in for sure. Now, and then, man, the Steelers beating the Ravens. Now, we could debate over if that likely was a I thought it was a touchdown. I'm not really sure why they didn't rule out a catch, but nonetheless, I am going to say Chargers have a tough schedule. Sorry, Connor. So I'm going to go Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Bills, Steelers, Texans. And you know what? Chargers still have a 2-game bet. I'll say the Chargers get in as the number 7 seed in the AFC, and in the NFC. I worry about the Rams, but I'm going to take the Panthers to get in over the Buccaneers. And the other ones, the Eagles will win their division, I think. And then Rams, Packers, Seahawks, 49ers, Lions. And I think the Bears are going to miss, which sucks for them.
I don't know if I follow it enough. I mean, I like the Bills. I love Josh Allen as a quarterback. I love watching him. That was a great game that he played yesterday. And
dude, I picked him up in my guillotine league. Killer.
You know, and obviously I'd like to see the Carolina Panthers with Chuba being an Edmonton guy, Sherwood Park guy, do well.
Oh, yeah.
Question number 4. What do you guys think of Notre Dame's decision to call it a season and skip the Pop-Tart Bowl after missing out on the college football playoffs?
Well, it's kind of pouty, like to put it mildly. Now, here's the thing. You play in an independent division. You didn't necessarily have the toughest schedule. So I know that they're guaranteed next year based on the rule. If they're in the top, they're automatically in. If they're in the top 12 rankings, okay. But I don't know. I don't think it's the greatest example to use. We didn't get in, so now we're going to take our toys home and we're going to quit. Like, you would never teach your kids if something goes wrong. Well, if you teach your kids it's okay to just quit when something doesn't go your way, like, what message are you sending? You're sending your pouty and I didn't get my way, so we're not going to go. Like, I'm sorry. That's how it looks. Like, guess what? Life sucks at times. Things happen to you that you don't like. But to just, I would say it's a little bit of our society being soft. Like, oh, I didn't get what I like, so I'm going to not go. And guess what? Your fans going to be like, yeah, rallying around. And I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of a loser mentality for me.
So who made the decision? Was it because it sounded like what I read there, the article, it was, you know, a team decision, like management and coaches, or
yeah, well,
right? Because it kind of, you know, to me, you know, it's unfortunate that, maybe these players wanted to play in there and wanted that opportunity.
Whoever made the decision made the wrong decision. Like, adults getting butthurt and being like, oh, I don't like how this is. Like, I'm sorry. That's just what it comes across to me. Cons?
Oh, I hate it. I think it's loser behavior. I feel bad for the fans that maybe wanted to go watch one more game. And think of that 5th-year senior who's never going to play football again. thinking I have one more game left, and then it just gets taken away from them. I think it's that. Honestly, I would ban them from the playoffs for next year. I'd say if you're going to pull out of the game, you're out next year.
You know what? Play fire with fire. Say no problem. You won't be in your. So you basically just disqualified yourself from your playoffs next year.
Yeah.
Tell us how your recruiting class is going to be.
Yeah,
damn right.
That's how I'd look at it, because I think it's just. I don't think it should be allowed. I think it's loser mentality. Final question for you guys on a more positive note: National Donair Day. What's the best spot for Donair, and what are the toppings you would be choosing?
I don't think I've had a Donair since the days back of when I played for the Oilers, to be honest with you, on White Ave. There's a place on White Ave that, I would go to. Between that and I think it was like the Funky Pickle. I think there was
they had pizza there.
A pizza place
with
there.
honey.
So between both of those, but yeah, I mean, a Donair.
So you haven't had a Donair in 20 years? Yeah,
I'm not a Donair guy unless, like I said, I'm on White Ave and it's 3:00 in the morning. Buckle. So and I don't think you could eat anything wrong at that point. But yeah, I mean, the Donair sauce and the onions and, but I can honestly say that I haven't been out on White Ave and I don't even, since I had a Donair.
Well, just to pick up your daughter, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
My son too.
Yeah. When I was younger, Roadrunner Donair on White Ave and just off of it was like just off of 99th Street. It was right on White Avenue. It was unbelievable. It looked like a little hole in the wall. And it was so good that we actually ordered it once in the afternoon, because you're always worried, like, is this only good? And I had it in the afternoon. It was unbelievable. But so I don't need a ton of Donairs, but there's a Roma Donair and pizza by our house, and it's pretty darn good. So that's the only one I've really had in the last few years, and it's really good. So I'll go with that one. Cons?
I'm kind of similar to you guys. Been a long time. They used to kind of be the after bar treat. And I don't really know the good ones at 2:00 in the afternoon. We used to go to Hudson's in the mall and then walk home, go to Belmead. There was a little strip mall they had a Donair. One's called Ben's, I think. But got to be cheese Donair. I don't like tomatoes, so lettuce and onion, sweet sauce. That's the go-to.
So, Cons, you used to come to the bar in the mall. What was that? What was the place in the mall here?
Well, there was,
back in the day, there was that. Was it not Rum Jungle? Was it?
It was Rum Jungle.
Rum Jungle was one, and then I never went to that one.
That was before my time.
Yeah,
that was right in my wheelhouse. A lot of fun there.
That was a big place.
It was actually, it was funny when Brent Myers had he was having an opening for his beer, non-alcoholic beer, and it was funny to be a part of it, but to see the crowd, that was basically the crowd of people that were out at Rum Jungle and all the places back in the day. So it was kind of funny to see everyone, how much older and different we all look.
Cons, come on. As a Shep alumni, I was hoping for Nicky's in Westmount Mall, now in Bonnie Doon, apparently.
No, I didn't go to the food court very often, to be honest with you.
Con's too healthy. Shelly had him on a tight sked back then. Halley was like, no, that's not happening.
Too poor. There was a dollar store. Okay, I'll take a chips and a pop. That was it.
Awesome. Brownie, have yourself a good one. We will chat with you next Monday.
Okay, have a good one, guys.
Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. They can meet all your car needs and more with their digital vehicle report. They don't just tell you what your car needs, they show you. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. The KJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you
Show
go.
presented by Play Alberta.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa broke down in the shop last night and the elves couldn't make it. Oh, that's right, so Santa called up his pals at Legacy Heating.
Sports 14.
Ho, 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 golly gee, 1 year, no payments, interest-free. And the Elks are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
He's a winner.
Sweet.
She's a winner too.
Right.
Everyone's a winner during Wish and Win at Wolf GMC Buick. Every single customer is guaranteed at least a $500 bonus with a chance to save up to $25,000 towards a new GMC or Buick. At Wolf GMC Buick, we also have 0% financing up to 84 months on most of our popular SUVs and trucks. And we're clearing out remaining 25s, including cash discounts up to $10,000 on a great selection of Sierra HDs. 90 seconds east of the Henday. Wolf GMC Buick, where everyone wins.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Carius to Low Tide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Hey, you know winter is really freaking cold, right? So play it smart. Don't get caught freezing in your car with your pants down and no power. At Big Toy Shop right now, lead-acid batteries are just $129. $129 is a great price for a good start. Big Toy Shop. Power up and save some bucks at Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock, we roll through. Busy Monday afternoon. Oilers on the road. They're not on the road. They're taking on the Buffalo Sabres tomorrow night. Then they'll be on the road this weekend in Toronto, Montreal. The Oilers, for the first time ever in franchise history, will have all of their Eastern time zone games done in December. It's actually it was never done in January. It's never done in February. Used to always have at least one Eastern time zone game in March. Some years, even in April, oddly enough. Remember that one year they finished with like Columbus and Pittsburgh? It was very odd. But no, they'll be done all their Eastern road games on December 18th this year. And when they get back from that road trip from Minnesota, they will have the remaining schedule. We'll have 6 games in the Central Time Zone, 8 in the Pacific, and 32 in the Mountain time zone. So a pretty favorable travel schedule after that. Right? They got a few games in Calgary, but can't get much easier travel than that. Obviously, lots of home games, a few games in Utah, and one in Colorado, but no more out east. I think their longest trip after that, I think they got a game in Nashville would be the farthest that they have to go after that. So that'll help. They're, they wear and tear. You can just see in the room, they seem a little bit more refreshed. They got some practices. They've got some rest time. They got an extra day off last week. In fact, the players were all excited about that. It wasn't planned. The coach decided, hey, you know what? Take the day off. They rewarded him. Played very well against the Jets. It's 2 games in a row. The Oilers have come and storming out of the gate. And they scored first 9 times in their first 22 games. That's it. 9 out of 22. But here in the on this streak, they have scored first in 4 of their last 5. The only one that they scored first and lost was that Tampa Bay game. So starting to figure out that, hey, it's much easier if you play with the lead. And they're not blowing the 2-goal leads as much either anymore. So lots of things going well for the Edmonton Oilers. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Our Jason Gregor Show pick of the day. You can check it out. Flames and Sabres. We're taking the under and 6.5. And we're giving Connor Halley some positive vibes with his Chargers to win straight up against the Eagles tonight. So if you want in on that with some odds boost, check it out at PlayAlberta.ca under the Jason Gregor Show. We've got lots of other texts flying in, 833-401-1440. Also, Jim, I should mention, we've had a great start to the month of giving today. We are now up to $6,200 from Jim on the high-efficiency furnace from A1 Heating. It's an Aries 2-stage variable speed, 97% efficient furnace. Comes with an Ecobee thermostat. All the materials, equipment, labor, permits, all of it's included. You'll also have a 12-year factory-backed parts and labor warranty and a lifetime heat exchange warranty. And they will remove and dispose of your old furnace. That's A1 Heating. So Jim has it up to $6,200. Right now, we're helping out Operation Friendship Senior Society. Today, if you want to see any of the packages we have for the rest of the week, you can go to jasongregor.com. They are right up there, or they're at Sports 1440 as well. Let's get to the 2-minute warning now, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Need a new furnace? You thinking about it? Are you worried about it? Because it's going to get cold. You don't want that bad boy to conk out now. So get a new furnace. No payments, no interest for 1 year. LegacyHeating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam, born with cerebral palsy, is in a wheelchair. Still able to scare some people. Just ask Sean Brown. And Cam's always wanted to be on radio. And now he can through the 2-minute warning.
You know you can make your bid on today's package during the 2-minute warning. Sure can. Today we're helping Operation Friendship. 833-401-1440. There you go now. 833-401-1440. Here we go. Curtis Lazar feels right at home in Edmonton, and maybe he always has. The former Edmonton Oil Kings, who raised the Memorial Cup above his shoulders in this very city, has woven himself back into the fabric of the community in the most Alberta way possible. He built a hockey rink in his backyard for his kids. And Saturday, Lazar added another reminder of why Edmonton remembers him so fondly. He scored a goal in the Oilers' win over the Winnipeg Jets, a tidy finish that echoed those junior hockey days when his name filled the rink with buzz. After the game, that same unmistakable Lazar grin surfaced again, this time in the Oilers' dressing room. The very grin that once made the rounds in a packed Edmonton Inn banquet room when he was the talk of the 2010 Johnny Reed Memorial Tournament with Kevin Lowe guest speaking and hockey folks whispering, "That kid's going places." Lazar still keeps one foot in those Oil Kings days. He remains in regular contact with former teammate and goaltender Kristen Jarry, now in Pittsburgh with the Penguins playing goal. And with rumors of Jarry coming to Edmonton, Lazar might be the first to know. And if he ever helps hoist hockey's holy grail here in Edmonton, it would cement him not just as a former junior champion, but as an honorary Edmontonian in every sense. a veteran of 615 NHL games, with stops including Ottawa, Calgary, Buffalo, Vancouver, and New Jersey before signing a contract with the Oilers, he knows a few things about moving. So his house here in Edmonton? The one with the outdoor rink? Did he buy it? The famous Lazar smile appeared. "We're renting," he said. "This is the NHL." 2-minute warning. The month of giving with Gregor, Halley, Kruger. Is Kruger still grumpy over Notre Dame and need a hit? And me, Santa Cam. Weekdays on Sports 1440.
Yeah, you look at the Oilers' bottom six, and Tomasic scores, Lazar scores, Janmark scored the previous game, and you see it in practice. There's a lot more. Joe Frederick gets his first assist of the season, so there's lots of positivity at the bottom of the order. Obviously, winning helps cures a lot of things, but winning when more guys are contributing usually leads to a little bit of an extended run. Now, the Edmonton Oilers still have yet to win 3 consecutive games this season. They will look to do that tomorrow night and get on a little bit of a run, which they need to. Now, the good news for the Edmonton Oilers is that their division is now. It's funny, if you go in the Eastern Conference, you look at the Atlantic Division from 1st to 7th, they're separated by 4 points. So someone said, is there any good teams, or they just have a lot of kind of middling teams? Not really sure. But you got 4 teams separated by 1 point: Tampa, Boston, Montreal, Detroit. Then Florida, Toronto, and Ottawa each have 30 points. You go in the Metro, Capitals 39. Then there's not much separation from second place Carolina to last place Columbus. There are only 4 points between all of them. Now, the Rangers have played more games. They got 34 points, kind of right in the middle. The West has some more separation. Obviously, Colorado and Dallas are quite a ways ahead of everybody, 48 and 45 points respectively, even the Wild. But then you get to Utah, Chicago, Winnipeg, St. Louis, all battling for 4th spot. 1 point separates them. The Pacific Division is where the Oilers, guess what? Now they got the same amount of games as Anaheim played, and they are 6 points back. It's not a huge deficit, but the big news for the Oilers is that they really haven't played many Pacific Division teams so far this season. They've played the Flames, lost in overtime. They played the Canucks twice, 1 win, 1 loss, and they played Seattle 3 times. They have 20 games remaining against division opponents, and lots of them will come. They have Vegas and Calgary before Christmas, then Calgary afterwards. And then they got a heavy dose of Anaheim, San Jose, LA, Vancouver, Seattle, Vegas after Christmas. And considering that the Oilers the last 2 years were 33, 18, and 1 against the Pacific Division. Now, Anaheim and San Jose have improved. But I look at the Sharks and I'm like, do I view them as a team that they should give Oilers trouble? No. But the games will be closer because they used to, they outscored just San Jose and Anaheim. They went 11-4 against those teams and outscored them 65-35. Lots of those games were, 5-0, 6-1, lots of blowouts. So might not be the blowouts, but you can take care of business against their own division teams. That allowed them to climb the standings. So 6 points out after a fairly slow start. They're still in a pretty decent position. And that's why these 2 games, I look at Detroit and Buffalo. You got to win the games. Buffalo's playing back-to-back. Detroit's playing back-to-back and their 3rd game in 4 nights. You got to win. That's it's a scheduling advantage. So you got to take advantage of it. Because then the Oilers, going into Christmas, they're going to play 6 games in 9 days. They play Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. The first 5 on the road, the last one at home to Vegas. So, yeah, they'll play Vegas second half of a back-to-back, 3rd game in 4 nights, 6th game in 9 nights. That'll be a tough game for the Oilers, even though it's back at home. So I look at this week and it's good where they've gotten to, but you got to start piling together a lot of wins because, there are some where I looked at kind of scheduling losses just based on flying, based on who you're playing, how many nights, how rested are they. Yeah, it doesn't guarantee you lose all those, but their odds of losing increase. So the Oilers have started to climb their way out of the hole. They're not all the way out of the hole, but they need to continue going. And they can easily, by the turn of the calendar year, maybe 2 points out of first place. Right? Like gaining 4 points in a 10-game span. Right? Like it's very reasonable. Now, who knows? Maybe the Ducks and Vegas both struggle, but Vegas has won 4 in a row. So we'll see. Hey, guys, I don't think it matters who wins the Pacific. Colorado is just too good. Mark it down from Dale. Oh, if it was only that easy, Dale. What I've learned the last years, man, regular season is one thing. Playoffs are a complete different beast. And who are you playing? Is Colorado, look, Colorado's being unreal, yes, but they're only 3 points ahead of Dallas. Dallas is a pretty good team. And I'll tell you, if you said you got to pick Dallas defense, Colorado defense, and I know they got Cale McCarr, but I would 1-6, I'd still pick Dallas's defense. Colorado's got the best defenseman, but then I think Dallas has the next 3 best defensemen. I like Taves, but I don't love him better than Harley, to be honest. I don't like him more than Heiskanen. And I'm not even sure I like him better than Lindell, to be honest. I think he benefits a lot from playing with Cale McCarr. And that's not a knock. You got to be good to play with him, but I think it helps him. So, and if you got Sammy Girard and Malinsky, both of them, 5'11", 5'10", in your second and third pair, and both of them are there, I just don't think you can go to the Stanley Cup final. Remember the year Colorado won? Sammy Girard only played 7 games. Length and size in the back end matters. You can have some guys, sure. I just don't think you can have that many small guys. And you watch. I'd be stunned if Colorado doesn't add a bigger, heavier defender to slide into their bottom 4 defense. I would be shocked if they didn't do that between now and the trade deadline. Bang on. Tell Dale to look at the Jets last year. It's a good one. Remember, the Jets were absolutely on fire. Did they win 14 in a row at one point early on? They were just crushing it. And then, hey, they were in a tough division. And then they get to the playoffs and Hellebuck's different, right? Mackenzie Blackwood, super small sample size, but his playoffs weren't very good last year. They just weren't. So we'll see. I like Colorado. They're good. But I wouldn't count on Dallas. I wouldn't count on Edmonton. I wouldn't count on Vegas. Right now, I think to get out of the West is going to be harder than to get out of the East right now. I like Washington, but I don't love them. Tampa Bay, I like, sure. After that, Carolina is what Carolina is to me. They're going to be a very good regular season team that doesn't have a difference maker come playoff time. And I just think that that's going to limit them all the time. So, Greg's, I'm pretty sure the Stars have beat Colorado the last 3 years in the playoffs. Well, when they've met, I think you are right about that. Oddball. They've had some success, but the past is the past. There's lots of different guys on the team, but maybe it's in their head. Maybe certain teams just don't match up well. Ask the LA Kings. I'm a firm believer the Kings could have beat a few other teams in the playoffs. They just weren't beating the Oilers. It's a terrible matchup. It just is. So teams have that. Sometimes you just, ask Leaf fans. Boston, they couldn't beat them, save their life. Not a good matchup for them. And that was over a span of many different years, different players, couldn't beat them. And so maybe that's the way. I'm sure if the Stars get in that second round matchup against Colorado, they'll feel pretty confident. No question. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, boys. High voltage, sick Donaire play. We got a lot of them. A lot of people saying Charles Smart. Is Charles Smart still open, though, Cons? I don't think it is. Sure it is at all.
It was called Charles Smart Donaire?
Charles Smart Donaire, yeah. It used to be on White Ave, but not in the main part of White Ave, kind of more around about 90th Street, 91st?
89th.
89th, okay.
Permanently closed.
There you go. All right.
Too bad.
Yeah, too bad. So, lots of good Donaire places. I like it. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we will hear from Steve Ellis. It's going to be interesting talking about some player evaluation. Looking at, did you see the rosters got announced for Canada World Juniors? We'll touch on that. Some NHL and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wow. Get Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
Black Friday deals continue at the Brick. And until December 11th, you can save big in every department. Save up to $1,000 off sectionals, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to 30% off furniture. Plus, buy more, save more, up to an extra $300 off select major appliances. Don't wait for the crowds. It's your last chance for Black Friday deals. See thebrick.com for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Picture this. You're sleeping and you're awake, but it's a good day because you're about to make your way to McDonald's to pick up some breakfast. Fast forward, you're there. Like this, you can now get all those breakfast classics penny style with rich, creamy hollandaise-style sauce. A happy little tear rolls down your cheek. You grab your small McCafe premium roast coffee, still just $1 plus tax every day. And see. Get up and at 'em with the Egg McMuffin. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. Prices exclude delivery.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder. With over $3 million raised for local charities. And his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
$4.29. Gregor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a fantastic Monday afternoon. Gregor Show always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, your one-stop shop. Baby. Tomorrow night, Lotto Max, $75 million. The Alec Regula of lotteries. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time for us to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Center, a state-of-the-art entertainment facility open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant, Summit Restaurant. Very good, by the way. The great viewing area. Check it out. That's Silent Ice Center. Stephen Ellis from Daily Face-Off joins us. Welcome back to the show, Steve. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm at Scotiabank Arena getting ready for Leafs versus Tampa, so it should be a good day.
Yeah, I saw some good online chatter, some jokes going around about that series, actually, that made me chuckle. But we'll get to that in a second. But I do want to talk about the rosters. It looks like, at least on paper anyway, Stephen Ellis, they decided, you know what? We're just going to go with the most skilled guys this year in camp, and that's who we're going to bring in and let them fight it out.
Yeah, like they left off some pretty talented players like Merrick Vaneker, Chicago Blackhawks prospect. He is the top scoring player in the OHL. So that's 2 years in a row that they have not brought the top goal scoring player in the OHL. But that also just shows you the depth of this team, where you've got a guy like Michael Misa coming back and giving the team a huge boost. Porter Martone has been great in college. Gavin McKenna, we know he's a top prospect. And there's some other guys that don't get a lot of love, like Michael Haig, Montreal prospect, Cole Reshny, former WHLer. He's property of Calgary. And then you look at on defense, they've got a good mix of size, skill, mobility. Like, this is a team that's just built to win. And I like what they're doing this time. They're not doing a selection camp where they're deciding this team based off of 2 games against U Sports. Like, at this point now, it's all about just gelling, figuring things out, and letting the best players rise to the top. And I think that's the right move.
When you look at it, like, we're, leading goal scorer, do you, like, if you would have had to take somebody off of the roster, put him on, who would you have taken?
Oof. I'm looking at, if I put an Merrick Vanaker on, I'm probably taking off Sam O'Reilly. I know it's a name that Oilers fans would know well, or maybe even Liam Greentree, Windsor Spitfires player, LA Kings prospect, who he's having a bit of a weaker season this year. He's still on pace for like 80-something points, but for a guy who doesn't skate as well as you like in big games, I think that's the guy you could probably take off. So, but that's the thing. It's like you're taking off an 80-point scorer for a guy who's also probably going to get 80 points this year, right? Like, that's the type of depth you crave if you're a team like Canada.
The one guy I was excited that he got called to it is Ethan McKenzie from the Oil Kings. He is, when I saw him last year, and I really liked him in the playoffs, energetic player. He's draft eligible because he's an overage draft. He could have been drafted beforehand, but he wasn't. You look at McKenzie, what do you think his chances are making that team?
I think, on paper, it's easy to look at him and say he's probably the odd man out because he is the undrafted guy. There's a lot of talent on this blue line after getting Harrison Brunick and Zane Parekh there. But when Hockey Canada brings an undrafted player, they're doing it for a reason. They must believe that Ethan McKenzie's got what it takes to be on this team. And I just watching him this year, the improvement in his game. I was a bit surprised the team didn't take him in the later rounds last year. Now I'm looking at this and saying, this World Junior Tournament could really push him into that maybe 3rd round conversation this year. I doubt he gets passed over this time. So I think watching him in his 2-way game improve has been very important. There's a lot of guys who know how to move the puck on this team, but I think when it comes to just not making mistakes in their own zone and keeping things simple, he does a really good job there. So I think he's going to have to go out there and beat a guy like Carson Carrolls, who's a 2026 draft prospect, or Jackson Smith, who was Columbus Blue Jackets pick last year. But if he has a good 2 games against Sweden, I think we could be talking about him being in Minnesota.
You got the born in Fort Saskatchewan, Keaton Verhoff, young guy who's obviously highly, highly touted to go in the top of the 2026 NHL draft. Currently playing at the University of North Dakota. Is he a lock for you on the back end?
I don't see a situation where he doesn't make this team, and so I would say 100% he's a lock. And you look at this year in the draft, and you're looking at Gavin McKenna being here, Keaton Verhoff being there. Then you're looking at Ivor Stenberg, who's going to be a big part of Sweden. He's challenging for that number 1 pick. And then Carson Carrolls, who's a top 10 prospect. Like, that's a ton of NHL talent. But with Verhoff, I wouldn't be surprised if he's more impactful for Canada than Gavin McKenna. And it's not a knocking against McKenna, but I just think with Verhoff being this big defenseman who takes space away, he's very mobile, very skilled with the puck. Like, that's something teams are craving. That's going to be a guy that's going to have no issue excelling in the NHL. And I think on this World Junior team, it's going to be tough to get ice time because Zane Parekh and Harrison Brunick are also on that right side. So it'd be interesting to kind of see what they do with Verhoff. I believe they only have 3 right-handed shots. So he might be that 3rd pairing guy, but he's going to be one of the best 3rd pairing defensemen in the tournament if that's what he ends up getting.
Stephen Ellis joins us. Steve, up front, like Misa, I think, is a no-brainer. He's going to make the team. I think McKenna's going to make the team. Well, what about a few guys that I look at kind of from the Alberta area? We got, Braden Coots out of Sherwood Park, coming from Seattle. Ginla, of course, everybody knows who his dad was. He was playing in Kelowna. You look at some of the Western League guys, and I think those are the only 2 Western Leaguers, if I'm not mistaken. I guess, Misa's, but he's in the NHL. So, yeah, I think those are the only 2 guys, right? Or no, Carter Bear. Sorry, there's 3. Carter Bear. So the dub guys, where do you rank them as far as making the team?
I think with Ginla, he's a lock, about as lock as anybody would be on this team. He's just a player that he's competitive. We saw him at the U18 World Championship where he played on that top line of Canada with someone like McKenna, and I thought he looked really good. He loves getting in the way of shots. He's tough to play against, and you could throw him on any line on this team, and you're going to find a role for him. And that's because his versatility is so important. I think the fact that he could score, hit, make some great plays, but he's also got that energy you're looking for. That's good. I think Braden Coots is probably going to be more of a third or fourth liner. And I think for him, it's just going out there and winning every individual battle. That's what he does well. He's a guy that when he's moving and grooving, like no one can contain him. And we saw how good he was in that preseason for the Vancouver Canucks and allowed him to stay up there for a few games. The one that's interesting is Ethan Bear. That's the one I didn't expect to see, but he has actually played very well in the WHL the last couple of weeks. So that is important that he's kind of heating up at the right time. He's one of those guys that you could probably put on the penalty kill. You could probably also put him on the power play. He's got about as good of a net front presence of anybody on this team. He's very difficult to contain when he's at speed. He wants to win every single shift. Like, he is the most competitive player on this team. So I think all three have a really good shot at making this team. Only one forward's going to get cut unless, something crazy happens and Beckett Seneca or Macklin Celebrini get loaned out.
Yeah,
that's not happening.
That is, there's many things you can guarantee, but I can guarantee that those two aren't coming back to the World Junior. If you just look on paper right now, who do you see as Canada's toughest competition?
It's going to be Sweden, and it's a team that you look at. Anton Frundell, he was picked top 3 of the draft last year. Ivor Stenberg, he's really impressive. He's actually on pace for the best production ever in the SHL by a U19 player in a draft season. Like, that's unbelievable. They've got a lot of guys who've played at a lot of high-level tournaments. They've been good at the U17s, the U18s, and I think the big question mark for them is going to be their goaltending, where they've got 3 goalies that I'm definitely not confident in. Czechia is another one of those teams where, you look at Canada, how they've done against the Czechs the last couple of years. Well, they've been close games, they've been competitive games. And from talking to a lot of people in Czechia, they believe this is the best roster this team has ever iced at this tournament. And they also have 10 WHLers. So a lot of guys, people in Alberta and BC would be very familiar with. So I think those are the teams I'm looking at the most. I think it's going to be a bit of a weaker year for USA. Finland doesn't feel like a true threat. But hey, here's one team that's interesting. Slovakia. I don't expect them to do well, but they have 19 players that can return for next year's tournament in Alberta. That's basically unheard of.
Really? Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, that's all right. So you're saying that next year they'll be pretty good?
I wouldn't say that, but they'll have chemistry.
Yeah, they'll have chemistry. Okay, that's fair. You look at Team USA's one. Is their team is this a down year for them?
It's going to be a down couple years, I think, for them. When you look at James Hagens, who's kind of the big star player on this team, well, if you look at all the players in the roster, I'd say the guy who's been most impressive is Will Horkoff. And obviously a guy who Edmonton fans would know from his dad. I think with that team, they just don't have a player that can go out there and dominate. Someone like Michael Misa or someone like Zane Parak or Gavin McKenna. So I think they're missing that part there. Their goaltending is not great. None of their goalies have had a good season this year. I think that's going to be very difficult. But then you look at kind of where their pipeline is going. They've had some good individual players at the draft, but the NTDP is in a very down time for them. Yes, they did beat the CHL in that 2-game series, but they've struggled against every other team they've played against. They don't have a guy that feels like can really take forward or take charge. So I think it's going to be a couple of weaker years for the Americans, but they've always got that built-in chemistry when you put those NTDP players together, so you can never completely count them out. But on paper, it's going to be a couple of rough years for the Americans.
Okay, that's fair. Now, quickly, Steve, I know you look at a lot of the young guys because you follow lots of them and then get to the NHL and where their progress is. Has Schaefer surprised you with just how good he's made the transition or how easy he's made it look to the NHL so far?
I don't know how many people thought Matthew Schaefer would be playing every single game in the NHL this year. And that's partly because of the fact that he missed so much time last year. It was only natural that he was going to have some issues, but he hasn't. That's a guy that just, you look at all the prospects and the ability to move up. You look at the Connor McDavid. He made it look easy with how good he was when he first came to the NHL. Austin Matthews, that 4-goal debut, things like that. Those guys make it look easy. But we haven't seen a defenseman do that after going first overall. Because you look at Owen Power, you look at Rasmus Dahlin, these guys that took a bit to really kind of figure it out. With Schaefer, it just looks effortless. And the fact that we're talking about him not just being in contention for the Canadian Olympic team, but it's going to be tough to take him off. That's incredible for a player that, if you asked me back in August, I'm saying, he's going to go back to the OHL and he's going to be at the World Juniors. To see him do everything he's done, clearly no obstacle is too big for this player, and that's why he's so special.
Yeah. Oh, he is. He has been amazing to me. Just for a young defenseman, I look and I wonder, where can he grow his game and what can it be like in the future? But what leads me to another question: where do you come out on where's Owen Power in his development?
It's interesting. As he was just dropped in all fantasy hockey leagues I was in today. For him, the high end upside was never there. Like, this was a guy that you were drafting him in a weaker draft that was known to everybody in that year. And it's more about, like, this guy can be a good NHL player. And I feel like he has established himself as, a guy that can be difficult to play against. But I've always wondered, if he was moved out of Buffalo, would he be better? And could he go out there and thrive on a team that isn't fighting for their lives every single game, hopefully having a shot at the playoffs? I still really like Owen Power. I still think he's got a good future. I just think right now it's hard it just seems hard for these defensemen to really develop to the level that we're looking for. So yeah, Owen Power was always going to be more of maybe your second best defenseman and probably better as a second pairing defenseman. But I still feel like in individual situations, he is tough to beat in one-on-one games. And I think that is something that we knew would be the case for him.
Steve, give me your thoughts on the Leafs Lightning tonight. Lightning at the top of the division. Leafs have won a few. Now they're 30 points. They're only 4 points back. It's pretty close right now. Where do you see Toronto? How would you evaluate their season to date?
They're starting to figure it out. I think, you kind of look at how the Oilers had that really rough start and they've started to win games. And I think we're seeing that the Leafs now. This is a team that hasn't been healthy for so much of the season. And now, like, they're starting two goalies are both hurt, and you're going to Dennis Hill to be where, in a perfect world, he's playing 40 games in the AHL. Instead, he's spending more time in the NHL than he's been down. So I think it'll be interesting to see kind of how he does. The Lightning at the team where you got a guy like Braden Point that wants to continue proving that he deserved one of those first spots on Canada's Olympic team. So they're going to be flying tonight, and looks like the Lightning should be a little healthier today. But for Toronto, it's just, and they string a full 60 minutes together. That's the difficult part.
Awesome stuff, Steve. We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon, leading up to the World Juniors and more. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There you go. That is Steve Ellis from Daily Face Off. Quick break. We'll come back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Update you on our month of giving and more. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Your all-access pass to the world of sports is Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
Hey, winter is really freaking cold, right? So play it smart. Don't get caught freezing in your car with your pants down and no power. At Big Toy Shop right now, lead-acid batteries are just $129. $129 is a great price for a good start. Big Toy Shop. Power up and save some bucks at Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vimy and Donnan have to offer. Visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit titansupply.ca.
Hey everybody, it's Chief Principe and Jason Stradley. Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one hell of a trip. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise, July 2026. Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Book now and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours/Edmonton.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? By Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Or 48. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Monday afternoon. The calm before the storm, shall we say. A little winter cool is coming. We are at $6,200 if you want to feel to warm up today on our month of giving package, courtesy of A1 Heating. And that is, you are going to get a high efficiency furnace. Of course, it's Aries two-stage variable speed, 97% efficient furnace. You get the ecobee thermostat, all the materials, equipment, labor, permits, all included. They'll remove and dispose of your old furnace, and you get a 12-year factory back parts and labor warranty and a lifetime heat exchanger warranty. And currently we have that at Jim at $6,200. So if you want in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Also, if you want to plan ahead, see if there's something else that tickles your fancy, you can go to jasongregor.com. Right on the front page, you'll see where we have our month of giving, and you can see what else is up for grabs this week, and then we'll have more next week. 449. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. Shop over 15,000 vehicles at goauto.ca. 28 vehicle brands, 69 locations to choose from. goauto.ca. The Edmonton Oilers were skated today. Basically, they had the same lineup as last game. Wallman wasn't on the ice. Kapanen wasn't on the ice. Roslovic wasn't on the ice. Clattenburg wasn't on the ice. Clattenburg, he's got no eye damage. He just was, having a little bit of vision issues the day after. So my understanding is, anytime it's with their eye, they're worried about maybe it's the swelling from the stick around it, even though it didn't hit the eye directly. It's putting a little pressure on it. So you are not allowed to have any sort of a high impact working out for a week. So he'll have a few more days off, and then he'll get back to skating. He was walking around and talked to him today very briefly, and he feels fine, but just, obviously with your eye, you got to be careful about it. So that's why he's out. Noah Philp did skate today. He is eligible to come off of long-term IR. First game he would be eligible would be Saturday, because you got to be on for 10 games and 24 days. But usually when guys come back off a stint off LTR, they're not going to come back and play back-to-back games. So you could play him, I guess, against Toronto, but then take him out of the lineup. They might just, what they've done, remember when Hyman came back and other guys, they waited until the second night of the back-to-back, and then he played, and then you kind of get into a rhythm. So we could see Noah Philp. The earliest would likely be, well, I guess technically Saturday, but probably Sunday. We'll see. He's got some few more hurdles, but he was out in practice today, took part in every drill, every battle drill, did everything fine. And then he stayed on the ice working quite a bit afterwards, had a good sweat on, said he felt great. So you might see Philp later on this week or early next week. Here's an update on the other injuries, Wallman, et cetera, from Chris Knobloch.
Yeah, Wallman's taking a little bit longer than we anticipated. It's not going to be this week, might not be next week. It's still going to be a while. Roslovic and Kapanen both are around Christmas time. Whether if we got him in before Christmas, that'd be a bonus for us. After, that's kind of the timeline we're looking at.
My understanding with Wallman is he's got a bone bruise, and he got hit, blocked the shot in an area where there was no padding. So it's directly on it. And so now talking to some people, a deep bone bruise, there could be a slight fracture in there potentially. Obviously, I didn't get that in-depth details, but it's a possibility because he did skate last week, came out, was on the ice for about 25 minutes and then left. So haven't seen him skate with the team since. Obviously, he's not going to be this week, as you heard from the coach, maybe next week. And asked the coach about, their last 6 or 7 games, really going back to that game in Tampa. I know they lost that game against Tampa Bay late. What was there, like 2 minutes and 30 seconds left when Tampa tied, and then they won in overtime. And Roslovic could have won in overtime, just couldn't raise the puck, unfortunately. But that was kind of the start of them playing well. Obviously, there was the Dallas hiccup in between, but played well in Florida, played well against Seattle twice. Even when they lost to Minnesota, I thought they played quite well. Easily could have won that game. Dominated Winnipeg, as they should have. Winnipeg was tired, and they were relentless in that game, and they need to do the same attitude against Buffalo and Detroit. The confidence, how much of an uptick is he sensing in his room as some depth guys score, the top-end guys score, your power play scoring at will, and how that kind of transcends across the room?
Well, definitely a lot more confidence. Anytime you're scoring goals, that's confidence throughout the group, but more importantly, just individuals. Once they just get a goal or get on the score sheet a little bit, it just goes a tremendous way on just feeling good about your game and the feeling that you're contributing a little bit. And, I think all that offense, starts with us moving the puck a lot better, just transitioning up the ice and just executing our passes. And I think that has a lot to do with it, but also the mentality of attacking the middle of the ice more and not playing so much on the perimeter. That can be a pass to the slot, but it'll also be a drive to the slot or drive to the net. Sometimes it's just a perimeter shot that you're looking for a rebound. And, I'd like that we're playing with that attack mentality and not being on the outside as much as probably were earlier in the year.
Yeah. There's lots of areas of their game. Like if you all made your own checklist and you watch the last few games, you'd see, oh, geez, how many giveaways have the Oilers had? Any glaring ones that you can think of in the last few games? Not really. Suddenly, when you're not gifting goals, it's a little bit easier to defend, right? How many obvious battles are they losing? Like you're going to lose some battles in the course of a game, but they're winning more now than they're losing. We haven't seen them guys in motion, skating up the ice, open lane, passes in their skates, passes in front of them. Their puck management, their puck efficiency just wasn't there. And it's been there the last few games. And they got a lot of the guys scoring, like Matty Savoy, depth guys. But Matt Savoy, here's a young player who's kind of starting to find his way. And how much the goals can help a guy like Savoy in his overall game.
Whether it's a young guy or a veteran guy, it goes a long ways. Looking at Matt's situation, young guy playing in the league, he probably might have some doubts about, can I do this? Can I score? I've done it everywhere else, but now that's going in, feels better about his game. And doesn't have to maybe force things and start questioning himself. Am I doing things right? What do I need to change? You just want to play this game. And I think, when you contribute some offensively, whether it's assists, goals, you can just relax and the game slows down for you.
And you look at Matt Savoy, he's always been a scorer. And you know what? Takes some time for some guys. It's not always a sprint. It's not always who's the quickest. Right? And don't look now, but I remember last year, many people, oh my God, they lost that trade. What are they doing? Ryan McLeod had a good year in Buffalo last season. No question. Ryan McLeod this year has 5 goals in 28 games for the Buffalo Sabres. And Matt Savoy, now in his first NHL season, he is up to 6 goals. Now, McLeod has a few more assists than Savoy does at this point. But, Matt Savoy, I look at that. That's a trades both teams can benefit from it. I think Ryan McLeod personally benefited. He got more opportunity, right? Had a really good year last year. And Savoy got to come to an organization. Like Buffalo had a lot of similar players, had a lot of young guys. So he got to come into Edmonton's organization and kind of be their main young guy, where the organization was, we really want to help this guy develop. We're going to put him on the penalty kill. We're going to put him on the power play. We're going to play him a ton of 5-on-5 minutes. And we're going to keep him in the American League. Now, he got a few games in the NHL, which was great, a huge thrill. But now this year he comes in and I thought he earned his spot in training camp, and he's continued to hold it. And you know what? Hasn't been playing huge minutes, but he's been playing like you're a rookie and you're getting 13, 14 minutes on. I know their record doesn't suggest they're a good team. I still think Edmonton's a good team. I think they're actually a really good team. Like, I think if you ask me today, who are the 4 best teams in the Western Conference? It's Dallas, Colorado, Edmonton, and Vegas. Those are the 4 for me. Until someone else like Minnesota, I think, is just a rung below, to be honest. And LA, no, I don't put them in that category. Obviously, I don't put St. Louis or anybody else. Utah, no. So it's kind of how it is. And it's going to be a matter of who makes what moves. That might be the difference to those teams improving between now and the trade deadline. But Edmonton's still pretty good. And Savoy he's playing good minutes. And now he's got his confidence. And I'm not going to expect him to score 3 goals every 2 games, of course. But I wouldn't be surprised if Matty Savoy, like you look at what his point per game pace was through his first 25 games. I'll say this, from game 26 to game 50, I won't be surprised if his points per game is doubled, to be honest. Now, he didn't have a ton of points. That's what I'm saying. It's easy to do it. Double, maybe triple. So that's a good sign for a young player. I thought to me, that's how you develop a young skill player. You play in big minutes in the minors. And when you come up here, he started the penalty kill, a little bit of 5-on-5, second unit power play, and now he's getting more opportunity. But the coach put no pressure on him to score from the get-go, which is odd because I know that's what he's used to. But he said, hey, man, you're going to stay here because if you can be good defensively, the offense will come. You're not just going to lose your instincts. And now they're starting to see him. 4:59, Mark Spector will join us. We got 1 hour to go in our month of giving. We'll update you on that and more. But first, let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. They got tires, winter tires. If you're looking for some, great deals right now. NorthgateGM.com, because it's cold and it's slippery.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
That one gets going at 6:15 off the field. Bad news for the Colts as they'll be without starting quarterback Daniel Jones for the rest of the season. He suffered a torn Achilles in their loss to the Jags yesterday, while the Commanders will be without tight end Zach Ertz, who suffered a torn ACL. In the CFL, the Edmonton Elks extending kicker Vincent Blanchard through the 2027 season. He connected on 78.8% of his field goals last season, converting on 39 of 40 extra points. In the association, 3 games, Pacers and Kings, Suns in Minnesota, and the Pelicans host the Spurs, and 1 game in the AJ with Whitecourt heading to Fort Mac, taking on the Oil Barons. Puck drop at 7. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
An electrical solar team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Black Friday deals continue at The Brick. And until December 11th, you can save big in every department. Save up to $1,000 off sectionals, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to 30% off furniture. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an extra $300 off select major appliances. It's your last chance for Black Friday deals. See thebrick.com for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
After 20 years, Canada's most prestigious international hockey tournament returns. The Canbros Viking
Afternoon,
Cup, December 28th to January 4th at Encana Arena. Tickets at vikingcup.ca. Brought to you by Sports 1440.
Wondering what you
Halley
can afford?
Sports.
Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just
Sports
quick
14.
answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Picture this. You're sleeping and you're awake, but it's a good day because you're about to make your way to McDonald's to pick up some breakfast. Fast forward, you're there. This, you can now get all those breakfast classics penny style with rich, creamy hollandaise style sauce, a happy little tear rolls down your cheek. You grab your small McCafe premium roast coffee, still just $1 plus tax every day, and see. Get up and at 'em with the Egg McMuffin. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth EE football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.505. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, whether it's on Sports 1440 or Waters Nation. We appreciate it. Listening, texting the show, listening later on in the podcast, however you consume the show and the station. We very much appreciate it. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 is the text line. We ask you the question. Where are you on the orders? Are you over your nervousness, frustration of the early season? They're going to bounce back and just keep climbing the standings. in the Western Conference, or do you still see they have some concerns? Let us know, 833-401-1440. A reminder, it's a final hour today of a month of giving, day 6. Today we have a great package courtesy of A1 Heating. It's a high-efficiency furnace. It's an Aries 2-stage variable speed, 97% efficient furnace that comes with an Ecobee thermostat, all the materials, equipment, labor, permits, 12-year factory back parts and labor warranty, as well as a lifetime heat exchanger warranty. And they will remove and dispose of your old furnace. Currently, Jim has it at $6,200 if you want in. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Now let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. Edmonton surrounding communities constantly growing, new houses, roads being built every day. But before the overpasses can go up or the roads can be widened, the first step is relocating all of the underground utilities. That's what they do at GS Construction. Everything gets rolling, they get going. GS Construction. As we get to Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, how you doing?
Doing all right, man. How you doing?
I am doing pretty well. Pretty well, actually.
Which of the world's problems are you solving today, man? What are you getting?
You know what? There's not a lot of problems today. People are very kind of in a good mood. Now if you're a Chiefs fan, maybe not. There's some fan bases, but overall, Oilers Nation, like their team has spanked some opposition, as they should, the last few games, and they got 2 games this week, at least in the week before they go on the road against teams they should beat, in Buffalo, who will play tonight in Calgary, and then they play Detroit on Thursday, and the Red Wings are in Vancouver tonight. They're in Calgary Wednesday, and then their third game in 4 nights in Edmonton. And those are games that are scheduling advantages, and I think Edmonton's taken advantage of it the last few times.
Yeah, well, the schedule comes back to you, right?
Yep.
They played a lot of schedule disadvantage games when they were playing 9 out of their first 25 on the road. Coming home and playing 1 game and leaving again. So yeah, comes back around. And so, every year it's going to happen. Every year there's going to be games where your schedule sucks and the other team's doesn't. So the trick is, when it's in your favor, you got to win the games, right? That's how you take advantage of the schedule. Win the odd one you're not supposed to win, and win as many as you can you are supposed to win. And that's usually what good teams do, right?
Yeah, usually. And it's the way that they've kind of gone about winning the games lately, right? Like you jump out to big leads, and I know Seattle did score late on that bad giveaway. But then Edmonton rebounded and scored 3 goals again the first 9 minutes of the second period. And it was kind of good night, Irene. It got up on the Jets team that they said, you know what? We're not going to give the Jets any reason to stick around and think they're in the game, right? Like it was 1-2-3-0, 7:24 into the game. Right, then Bouchard, 13 minutes and change when he made it 4-0, and you're like, okay, it's pretty much good night, Irene, at that point. Now the Jets, you know what, they had some shots in the second period, but for all intents and purposes, even Lazar then made it 5-0. Like the game was over, right? And so it's been 2 kind of stress-free games, Spec, where your top guys, they get their points, but they don't got to play very much. They don't feel very taxed at all. Like McDavid, I think, didn't even play 19 minutes. Draisaitl didn't even play 17 minutes in that game. And, still had 2 points each. And so that's kind of the advantage. And I would love to look, and I haven't lately, but I'm sure that the last few games, suddenly you'll see the minutes played for both. Everybody's all concerned because the Oilers were playing like 10 overtime games in their first 22 or 23 games. So of course their big guys were playing more minutes, and now they're winning some games, and they're not having to rely on those guys to play a ton. And McDavid's back down to 22-30, which is where he was last year. And Draisaitl's back down to under 22 minutes, which is where he was last year.
Yeah, they didn't. The last 2 games, neither Draisaitl nor McDavid played 20 minutes in either game. I believe Draisaitl's 16 and change was this least amount against Winnipeg that he's played all season. So, and I think it's kind of chicken or egg. Like, so your team's going well, you're getting some leads. You play the depth guys more. The depth guys get a little more action, and boom, Janmark scores the other night. Lazar scores against Winnipeg. You start to give those guys a little more ice time, and guess what? They start to play a little bit better, right? That's usually the way it goes. So, I like an Oilers team that has the odd night where McDavid and Draisaitl don't play 23 minutes each. I think they're always going to be a better team. And I know the players got to like it, because guys like the depth players. Frederick had a much better game, I thought, against Winnipeg. He was in on a couple of offensive plays. Well, no kidding, because he's not playing 8 minutes a night. So it's good for everybody. You rest for the big boys and a little opportunity for the guys down the way a little bit. They're down the lineup a little bit. And boom, you're winning games now and you're feeling comfortable about it.
Yeah, no, that's well, it's good. Hey, you know what? Your depth guys get some goals kind of in gravy time, right? But your big guns got you the lead. And so, I know people are like, oh, I would play my depth guys more. If you actually think your depth guys are going to score more on an average than McDavid's extra 4 minutes, I will strongly disagree with that notion all day long. I just don't think it's true. But you get guys feeling more confident. What happens is it's just less taxing on your star guys for a week or two. And like McDavid today, he just looked fresher. He's just like, you can just tell, like, there's more smiles in the room. Team is playing well, yada, yada, yada. A few things, Spec, about that. So Jake Wallman, now he's going to be out another few weeks. My understanding is the block shot hit him in the leg, and it's a deep bone bruise, which I don't know, maybe there's a fracture underneath it. I don't know. But the one good news out of that is, while he's out, you're getting a bit more of a longer look at Alec Regula to see what he might be for your team down the road.
Yeah, and you know what? They got pretty good depth. Like Emberson can play now in anyone's top 6. Like he's a top 6 NHL defenseman. He's your third pairing guy. Great. Regula comes along now, and we didn't really know what the Oilers had in this guy, and you're watching him play. You know what? The more he plays, better he looks. And now all of a sudden, he's a guy that, he's starting to look like, okay, if he's got to run in your top 6, you can do that. And you can win games with Emberson and Regula in your lineup. And I'm not sure we knew that to be true before the season started. And hey, guys get hurt. Wallman's been hurt to see. He's been hurt a lot, this guy, since he got here. Mm-hmm. And you're not loving that, but it's bad luck, right? Guys get injured, it takes courage to block shots. And sometimes they hit you in a place where you didn't intend for them to hit you, and he's out for a while. So I don't mind seeing Regula play. I kind of like his game. Jay, I think he's been pretty good.
Yeah, well, he was finally on the ice for a 5-on-5 goal, so that was nice. First time he's just been on the ice for a 5-on-5 goal all season on that Nugent Hopkins goal. And Regula, the thing I've noticed, though, is in the last 5 games, he's been on the penalty kill more. And they've basically been using like 3 pairs on the penalty kill, Spec, in their last 5 or 6 games. And, Bouchard and Ekholm still are kill the most. But like the least, like the top guys are killing 12 minutes and the other guys are at 8. Like it's fairly even, which you don't see a whole ton of. And you know what? That's you can kind of find out where can guys go here. If we have a certain time where maybe we don't need Bouchard playing every minute, that maybe the other guys can do it, right? So and it's kind of easier to do it against some of the lesser teams. Like Seattle's got a terrible power play, right? The Jets power play is okay right now. And so I look at that and I think it's good. The other thing is with Noah Philp getting close, right? He's eligible. His first game he would be eligible by LTIR rules is Saturday. Based on how whether he's ready in that, who knows? He looked really good today at practice, skating around fine, took part in every drill, stayed on the ice for another 30 minutes, kind of get back into conditioning, everything like that. Good. So he could be ready. That Clattenburg can't skate. I don't think he can physically exert himself for another few days just because there's some pressure around the eye or swelling. And so the doc's like, no, you can't do that, which I understand. And then Wallman's weeks away, Kapanen and Roslovic maybe before Christmas time. But Noah Philp might be come back in. I'm just not sure, if there's a real spot for him anywhere.
Well, I mean, he's the 4th line center and Curtis Lazar is the 4th line center. So, I mean, there's your spot. Eventually, there's just too many guys here. But they've had injuries all season long, and we haven't had, the pressure point has not arrived on Bowman to really send a guy down where you think, this isn't a guy I want to put on waivers, right? They haven't, that hasn't happened yet. I guess if Philp comes back and Roslovic comes back and Kapanen comes back and nobody else gets hurt, then there's going to be an issue here for sure. But you know what? The Oilers and every other team in the league, the schedule, man, it is a compressed schedule. Guys are getting hurt, and they're pretty good depth. Like this team has depth. They got a lot of guys, man. That's why the Oilers are a good team, because they can withstand the first 2 or 3 or 4 injuries, Wallman's been out a lot. The defense is putting her together pretty good here. The depth centers, one guy goes out, the other guy comes in. They got some depth on this team. And, now the question sort of becomes, Jay, like, you're never going to withstand injuries to certain guys. Your top power play performers, when they're out, there's not a guy stepping in their spot. But as long as it's lesser guys on the third, fourth line, third pairing, second pairing, they've been pretty good at filling in for these guys. This team's got some depth now.
Yeah, and they actually have some young guys in the minors. You got Howard, who's close. Yeah. Quinn Hudson's having a very good season this year. He's a guy who might push for a spot next year. Szymanski, like they've actually got some guys now that are close where you're like, and I talked to Keith Gretzky and he's like, yeah, we got some young guys here that are close. Now, they're not all most likely all going to be NHL players, but at least you've got some guys pushing where now in Edmonton, as you mentioned, because of the injuries here, they've got like 15 forwards here. So they probably still got too many, but they also have some guys that if they're playing very well in the minors, teams look and say, hey, I don't just want to get draft picks all the time, right? Draft picks are great, but they're like a 5-6 year project for the most part, unless you're getting a top 10 pick and you ain't getting a top 10 pick from Edmonton. So, some of those guys start to have value if Edmonton is looking to upgrade, because I still think in an ideal world spec, they want another top 6 shooter before the deadline.
Yeah, they're sure. Absolutely. They do. And
another goalie.
And there's the goalie issue out there. And that goalie issue is proven to be a serious, like how long's Bowman been in the market here for a goalie? A long time. And you know what? Say what you want about Stan Bowman. If you like his work, if you don't like his work, whatever. One thing Stan Bowman's never had any trouble with is making a deal, right? He finds his players. He makes his deals. Roslovic's open. Boom, he signs them. July 1st, he signs a couple of guys. Like, he's an active GM that finds the way. People used to complain about Ken Holland never sort of invented sort of innovative ways to make trades, right? Defer, getting the other team to take some salary and moving the right guys here and there. Bowman's good at it. And the point I'm trying to make here is if he can't find a goalie, and he's been in the market since the end of last season, that's how hard it is to do. It's just a difficult trade to make salary-wise, talent-wise, find a goalie that you like, that they'll trade you, that you can afford. So far, he hasn't been able to do it.
Yeah. Well, I'll be interested. The Tristan Jarry rumors made no sense to me for a variety of reasons, right? Like, unless you're going to say, well, we're going to get Tristan Jarry and Stuart Skinner in Edmonton. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense to me to trade Jarry away for Skinner straight up. I look at salary cap. I look at performance. I look at a lot of things. I'm not doing it, right? And so I think any trade, and I still believe, is going to be one where probably sees Calvin Pickard going the other way. And Edmonton, you don't necessarily get a top end guy, but you give someone that you think, hey, this is going to be more of a battle. And we'll see. Skinner's older now than he was when he got thrust in the starter's role early on. And now, shocking, and I'm saying that facetiously, guess what? Skinner's numbers are a lot better now that the team isn't facing high danger chance after high danger chance after high danger chance, right? And so he's been better. He's been more poised. And I just think the things that he's been working on with the goalie coach, you can start to see them a little bit more when the team starts playing better, because now the goalie's like, okay, I trust our defense. Now they know what I'm doing. Now I can try to work on this. And again, I don't believe that Skinner's ever going to be elite per se, but I still think that Skinner, I would rather have a goalie push him rather than him trade away for another goalie who doesn't have much experience and then go with that other goalie and Pickard. I just don't see how that makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. I mean, unless you, I've always said this for months here. I'm trading Skinner away if it's in a deal for an absolutely top flight guy like a Shesterkin. Problem, they don't trade guys like Shesterkin, right? So, Pickard is awesome as a backup if he's playing with an undoubted number one guy. Pickard did work with Vasilevsky and with Ottinger and with Hellebuck and with Demko if he could stay healthy and, with one of those guys. So, yeah, what Bowman's trying to do here is he's not necessarily trying to improve on Skinner. He's trying to improve on Pickard. He needs a guy that's as close as possible to Skinner and have two of those guys in the role. And, I mean, that's just the reality of it. There's no goalie out there way better than Stu Skinner that someone's going to trade you. Like that it's just fantasy if you think that's going to happen. So, listen, it's hard enough to find right? The Scott Wedgwood this year, or whoever the goalie is going to be. Bowman's scouring the market for this guy for months and months and months and months. He can't make the deal. And it's not because he's not trying. So, eventually maybe the deadline will shake somebody loose. Maybe there's going to be a team out there, Jay, that's just out of it. And they go, okay, we'll take some assets for a goalie that we probably wouldn't have traded 3 months ago. That's probably what's going to happen here. But for now, if I'm reading the tea leaves, Bowman's working his rear end off to find this goalie. He can't find him. That means he probably can't really be found right now.
Potentially. Or he's not found at the right price. But I'm not sure how many of goalies, like there's some names out there that we've seen. I'm just not sure if I've never seen one that's like John Gibson. I had so many Oilers fans last year. Go look at John Gibson's numbers, okay? Everybody, you got to get John Gibson. What? Because if I was getting 2018 John Gibson, damn straight it would have got John Gibson. That's not the John Gibson you were getting, right? And everybody believed it was only Anaheim. Well, it goes in Detroit and it's been just worse. So you gotta make sure if you trade the goalie that you're getting one who's better, right? Getting one who's worse just because he's different doesn't do you any good.
And it's tricky as heck here. Like, okay, Binnington's a better goalie. Well, is he this year? Is he?
No, not this year.
Woodley, I don't know.
No. Woodley outlined it very much in depth, saying if you went only off of this year's stats, because last week Stephen Valaquette had mentioned, Binnington, if he was behind Edmonton, would be in 16 goals better. But what he didn't include was that included last year's numbers, last year and this year. And obviously last year had way more than this year. But if you only included this year's numbers, according to Woodley, he looked it all up and he said, if you went off of just by this year, doing what they did, Binnington would have allowed 14 more goals than Skinner has. Not even close this year.
Right. So there's a trade you would have made at one point. Now you're thinking that's not a good trade to make. Listen, like Ken Holland went into the market that summer and said, no matter what happens, I'm coming out of this with a goaltender. Right. And he came home with Jack Campbell and it was a disaster and they're still paying the guy, and one of the goalies he could have had that year that he missed out on was Ville Husso. And what did Ville Husso turn into? He's a backup in Anaheim. He's barely okay, So my point is that summer, there was no goalie to acquire. And Holland got one anyway, and he wished he wouldn't have. So, I know I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Bowman makes huge money to solve this problem. It's his job to solve this problem. I don't care if there's no goalie out there. I don't care if it's hard. I don't care. No one wants excuses. Yeah. Everyone wants a goalie. That's what Bowman's getting paid for here.
Yeah.
But I can sympathize with the fact that, oh boy, it's a tall order to fill, and asking Bowman to hurry up and get the job done, I'm just not sure that's realistic.
Yeah. No, I think it is something that you need to do. And I said it all basically since the season ended last year. So there's no chance. There's always a chance. I didn't think there was any way you could go back and after the trade deadline, have the same two goalies you had. And I still think that one of them won't be there by the time this trade deadline comes. So what's that? March 7th? On March 7th, maybe it happens before then. I just think it would be foolish to run back the exact same tandem 3 years in a row. So.
Even if at the last minute there's not a huge improvement there, and you go out, you trade Pickard, and you get in some guy like Alex Lyon or something, oh my God, at least you change things up a little bit, right? At least. But I think you're hoping you can do better.
Alex Lyon, man. If Alex Lyon's your backup goalie, I'm fine with that. You know what? He could be a guy who even pushes him. Alex Lyon's been pretty good in Buffalo. You look at all of his numbers. Actually, Woodley outlined it earlier. He goes, that's a guy. Buffalo is a team to watch here because they've got 3 goalies in the NHL roster right now, and they got Devin Levi in the minors. Something's got to give there in Buffalo, and I'll be curious to see what it is in goal.
Yeah, and they're showing up in town tomorrow night, so maybe we'll get one of those grab your pads and walk down the hall trades.
Yeah. Not holding my breath, but you never know, Spec. You never. Have a good one, my man. We will chat with you tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Jay.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS construction, and DC is in at $6,300 on our month of giving package today for the furnace. 833-401-1440, courtesy of A1 Heating, 97% efficient furnace. They'll get rid of your old furnace, dispose of it. You get everything is all covered in this on top of the furnace, all materials, equipment, labor, permits, everything. You get a 12-year factory back parts, labor warranty, and a lifetime heat exchanger warranty from A1 Heating. 833-401-1440. Take a quick break. We'll return. It's Gregor. Oh my God, we have a huge breaking news story. Just when you thought you would never see this player again, they're back. We'll discuss it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
I'm Gene Principe, bringing season's heatings from Legacy Heating and Cooling. For Yuletide comfort you'll love this Christmas. You should call Legacy. Call Legacy. There's no better way to fix your furnace. You just call Legacy. They're professional, never rude, doll. You should call Legacy. Call Legacy. Plus, no interest and no principal payments for 1 year when you buy with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Get ready, Edmonton. Glow Christmas Festival returns to light up the Edmonton Expo Center from December 4th to 31st with dazzling activities for the entire family. Wander the glowing trails, meet Santa in his sleigh, and shop from over 30 local artisans and vendors with handcrafted gifts and holiday treasures, perfect for everyone on your list. Get your tickets and learn more about what's on this season by visiting the calendar of events at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, love that tune. I think I get fired up for that one. Ooh, great song. Welcome back, Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. DC has our auction on him at 6,300 today. The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember you check out the Jason Gregor Show. We get the odds boost pick of the day, and come in, Flame Sabres. Not expecting any offense in that game, so we went with the under. And we're going with Connor Halley. And you know what? The breaking news that just came out, who knows? This might give them some weird aura thing going on as the Chargers, because the Indianapolis Colts, Daniel Jones, out for the season. Achilles injury. And it's interesting because I saw a few people before the trade deadline saying, man, Indianapolis, they might want to get a backup quarterback, just in case. Well, they didn't. And so now Daniel Jones is out. Riley Leonard is week to week with a strained knee ligament. So guess who the Colts worked out today? Could this be his Vince Carter moment? One more. Philip Rivers. Now, Connor Halley was so excited. You put out a tweet. I don't even think it made sense. Like, I was like, did you delete it? Like, what was that gibberish?
None Sheppy.
Yeah, what does that mean?
That's it means now we begin. It's a Philip Rivers always wore on his hat. So it's kind of his saying.
Okay.
It's Latin. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, you making just a spelling mistake here? What's going on?
I've thought that's what a lot of people would have thought. Yeah, this is very weird because he's a semifinalist now for the Hall of Fame. And now he's going to go work out with the Colts tomorrow. I'm rooting for it.
Now, what do you think the chances are that he signs with the Colts?
I mean, I got to think pretty good if he's going. I'm curious who else they might work out because Declan and I were just talking about, like, who else is there? Through my research, Desmond Ritter's available. Do you want him? Hendon Hooker? A lot of guys just aren't available right now. So maybe he gets on the practice roster and he's elevated game day. If it's he or Riley Leonard, I mean, I'm taking Philip Rivers. Even if he hasn't played football in a few years, it probably doesn't go very well, but maybe just having a game manager in there who can at least dissect defenses could benefit them and Jonathan Taylor and help get the run game going. I don't know. It's a weird play, but I'm all for it. I'm hoping it happens.
It would be wild. He's 44 years of age. Now, how many kids does he have now? Has he had any since he retired?
Oh, absolutely. It's his birthday today, actually.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he turned 44 today.
So for his birthday, he gets one last workout.
Yeah, 10 kids.
10 kids.
And Gunner, who's actually in high school now, is one of the top recruits in, I want to say 2027. Plays quarterback. Throws exactly like Phil.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So now the Colts, God love them, like they need anything because their season looks like it's just slipping away. Right? That guy, even if they get Phillips Rivers back, like, or get him for the first time, like, I don't know if that's going to be enough, man. Like the Colts, they're in deep trouble, I think.
Yeah. Well, they would be getting him back because he did play there for 1 year.
That's true. We did.
When they were going through their rotation. Yeah, they are in trouble. Like, and their schedule is super tough. You got Seattle, Jacksonville, San Fran, and Houston.
Like they're done. Like come on. They've lost 3 in a row, and they were 7-1 at one point, and now they are 8-5 with a very difficult schedule. The Jags are a game ahead of them. The Texans are tied with them, but they have the tiebreaker over them because they have a better winning percentage in the conference. And I just think the Colts they're in a position to slide right out of the playoffs, unfortunately.
And crazy that, they gave up draft picks to bring in Sauce Gardner. Like, they made moves too. They went all in.
And Sauce got hurt, in his first or second game?
Not first, but second I think.
Game, yeah. So not good. What about the Jags? Are you believing in the Jags? They won 4 in a row. They look pretty good all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, the defense can get after it. I will say I'm still unsure because I still don't know what Trevor Lawrence is. Like, sometimes he looks great. Sometimes it's not so good. I really did like when they went out and acquired Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. Since he's got there, he's been really good. They're starting to run the football a little bit better. You're starting to see ETN make some more plays. So I don't mind it, actually. And they're kind of on the flip side. Like, they get the Jets. The Broncos is a tough matchup. But then you got the Colts and Titans to wrap up the season. So Jacksonville realistically could win 7 of their last 8 games going into the playoffs. Could have that momentum going for them. So I don't know if I'm totally sold, but because the schedule hasn't been that tough. A lot of the wins they're picking up are against bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
But like Cardinals, Titans, Colts.
Yeah.
They've lost to the Rams, lost to the Seahawks, lost to the Texans. So playoffs maybe get going in on a good note, but I don't know if I have them to win more than one game, if anything.
Well, just win one. Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on who they would match up against.
Yeah.
Right. Man, the Bills had a massive win. It looked like they were going to lose that game against the Bengals, and Joe Burrow was great. That one interception was awful, but that was a huge win for the Bills. And that one, the Chargers tonight, like it's a massive game for your team, Con, man. And the Chargers don't have an easy schedule down the stretch either.
No. I mean, after the Raiders win, I said it here. Like, I could see the Chargers losing out and falling out of a playoff spot because you got the Eagles, the Cowboys, who've been playing better ball as of late. And then you go to Kansas City, you have to go to Denver, two tough divisional matchups. It wouldn't surprise me if they fell out. So I'm kind of rooting against teams, which I, don't typically do, but hoping they can find a way to hang on. And this is going to be a tough one. I don't know, breakout game for Saquon or whatever's going to happen here, but I am glad that Jalen Carter won't be playing for Philly because he is a beast in the middle.
Yeah. Broncos and Patriots have each won 10 games in a row. They're 11-2 respectively. Which team do you like better?
I'm going to say the Broncos because I like their defense better than the Patriots. And I still say the Patriots, if you go back and look at their schedule, I'll give them a good win against the Bills in Buffalo, 100%. Next weekend, a game I'm really looking forward to is they'll host the Bills. I don't love the teams that they've beat. Like they haven't gone out there and, the win over the Giants was good, but you beat the Bengals by 6, you beat the Bucks by 5, you barely got past the Falcons. Like, I think the Denver Broncos defense is a little bit more proven. They had a really good group last year and they've added to it. I guess if I had to take a quarterback, though, I'd probably have Bo Nix right behind Drake May.
No, I'm taking Drake May over Bo Nix for sure.
That would be the problem there. But I would take the Broncos slightly ahead of the Patriots right now. I just haven't seen the Patriots do it against a really good team. And that's like the first round playoff matchup I want to see. I want to see that 7 seed hypothetically go into New England and see how they do.
Okay.
If the Broncos hold on to the top spot, of course.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I look at what about in the NFC? Are the Bears going to fall out here?
I kind of feel like they will. Yeah. It's a tough division, right? So I have to go check their schedule down the stretch here, but yeah, right on the cusp of it.
They got a tough skid.
I guess the question: who's going to pass them? And could the Panthers find a way?
Well, no, the Panthers don't have to pass them because the Panthers are playing the Bucks. Whoever finishes higher, they're in.
Could win the division,
and
yeah.
Then the Eagles and the Cowboys, they win. But then there's the 49ers, the Rams, and the Seahawks. And then there's the Bears, the Lions, and the Packers. One of them's going to miss.
Yeah.
And so the Bears play the Browns. The Browns just gave up that many points to Tennessee, which is mind-blowing to me. But they did. But then the Bears play the Packers, the 49ers, and the Lions.
Really tough.
Yeah, it's really tough. Now, they're at home to the Packers, at home to the Lions, and they're on the road in San Francisco. So 3 of their final 4 are at home because they have the Browns at home. So that, I guess, is good. They got to beat the Browns, obviously. And then, beating the Packers or the Lions, like that Lions game, it might come down to the final game of the season, which would be great for theater, but that's almost going to be like a playoff game. But they got a pretty tough skid.
Yeah, that could be your prime candidate for the Sunday nighter. If you want to go Lions, Bears, and just maybe who's going to get into that final wild card spot. Green Bay Packers kind of playing good ball as of late right now, and they're 4-0 in their division. So you got to give them a lot of credit for the success they've had. When they've needed to, they've taken care of business in the high pressure games. It's fantastic right now. And we talked about it with earlier on with Kalen, like a lot of fraudulent teams out there. Like, not saying they're bad, but there's not that team that we saw last year with the Philadelphia Eagles down the stretch, or the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills that just look like they're going to find ways to pull out every game. Like we're seeing week to week these top teams fall. LA Rams being the team last week.
I think the Rams, that was just kind of I think the Rams are pretty good, but I will say, like, not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend, I think it's a Thursday nighter, isn't it? The Rams and the Seahawks, like that's going to be a game, man.
18th. Yeah. Short week in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's massive. It's massive. That Seahawks defense is great. And Matthew Stafford's been terrific this season outside of the game against the Panthers, where he had a couple interceptions, unlike him. Yeah, it's setting up to be really good here. And I'm not counting out the Rams because of one loss. I think we've probably learned in NFL history, one bad game, though that happens. Yeah. We'll see how they respond down the stretch, but they get the Lions this week too. So that's going to be a tough one as well.
Hey, fellas, the Raiders should bring back Derek Carr now from Lance. If he was healthy, right? If that guy was healthy, I think he'd be playing a league, no question about it. Hey, boys, Manning, Breeze, TB13, Romo at the workout for a birthday party from Chad. Hey, guys, is Xavier Worthy ever going to pan out? Xavier going to pan out? I was super excited when they got a right-hand center and looking like he could score. Xavier Bourgault, or who are you talking about? Who's Xavier? I thought he meant Xavier Worthy, Stu Barnes. Which right-handed center are you talking about? Xavier Bourgault? He's not on the team. He got traded. He is he's in the minors. He's been more of a winger than a center. So if that's what you're thinking about, then he's no longer in the organization.
When he was drafted, how about that? Did you think he was going to pan out? Like, did you have high hopes for him?
Not really, no. I don't ever profess to be there's certain guys that I have opinion on. Like, I really like Matt Boldy because I looked at the Oilers organization, was like, what do they need at that time? Was Boldy. And there was lots of people. I remember at the 2023 draft when it was the Bourgault draft. Was that 22? Either one. And they went with Wallstedt. Like, there was people like instantly, even when the 19th pick was announced, everybody's like, not everybody, but so many people are like, you got to take Wallstedt, take the goalie. And there was lots of talk going in. It was when Kosa or take Wallstedt. And they opted with not even having a scout in the Quebec Major Junior League to take a player from the Quebec Major Junior League. Like, that was just a bad decision, man. Right? And ultimately probably cost Tyler Ryder's job, to be honest. Probably had a big factor in it. But that's like, you look at Wallstedt. Now, is Wallstedt going to have the numbers he's doing? Of course not. Like, he's an unbelievable heater. But he's still an NHL goalie. I'm not sure Bourgault is ever going to play in the league. I don't know. But yes, that was a bad pick for many reasons. Right? Like, if you would have taken, like, why are you taking Bourgault? That was my question. You're trading down because you thought that high on Bourgault. Like, no one was really that high on him. I remember Craig Button's scouting analyst on him. He was like, okay, he thought he didn't think he had a high chance of being an NHL player. Because not every first rounder is an NHL player. Right? They're just not. Unfortunately for all them, but they just don't always that way. So we'll see. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up. We just got a bid in. Ooh, I like this. $6,497 from Jim. $6,497. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys, that's right. So Santa called up his pals at Legacy Heating. Ho, 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 golly gee, 1 year, no payments, interest-free. And the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the table for every family. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
Black Friday deals continue at the Brick. And until December 11th, you can save big in every department. Save up to $1,000 off sectionals, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to 30% off furniture. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an extra $300 off select major appliances. Don't wait for the crowds. It's your last chance for Black Friday deals. See thebrick.com for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
The future of female hockey is here. It's season 2 of the Female Super League, the first ever female-only independent hockey division in Western Canada, with teams from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Featuring 16U, 14U, and 12U divisions, the FSL brings showcase weekends packed with thrilling games, and our 14U and 16U have been pioneering the advanced body checking rule, empowering young players. The Female Super League, where the best in female hockey takes center ice. Details at femalesuperleague.com.
Picture this. You're sleeping and you're awake, but it's a good day because you're about to make your way to McDonald's to pick up some breakfast. Fast forward, you're there. But what's this? You can now get all those breakfast classics penny style with rich, creamy hollandaise-style sauce. A happy little tear rolls down your cheek. You grab your small McCafe premium roast coffee, still just $1 plus tax every day. And see. Get up and at 'em with the Egg McMuffin. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. Prices exclude delivery.
And what can I get for you this year, little fella?
I want a new Ford F-150 with the FX4 package.
Adults need toys to play with on Christmas morning, too. And Nisku Ford has the best toys in town. If you decide to wrap one up, you can get rebates as high as $10,000 or choose interest rates as low as 0%.
This Christmas, get the toy you really want.
Add Nisku Ford to your holiday visits or make your wish list at niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.546, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, rolling through on a lovely Monday afternoon. NFL football tonight. Connor's Chargers taking on the Eagles. NHL action as the Oilers might be watching the first period, maybe the second period later on tonight. Buffalo takes on Calgary, got Toronto and Tampa Bay just underway. LA is taking on Utah. Terrible news if you missed it. Logan Cooley is out indefinitely for Utah. He was having a spectacular season for them. Really exciting, good young player. He's already had 2 hat tricks this year. One of 3 players in the NHL to have multiple hatties, and he is now out. So that's our third leading scorer, and you take him out of the lineup. That's a pretty big blow for them. So, and the fact that it's indefinitely. So Utah is a team that, you know, they're that team that they're like, hey, we want to take a step, but they are tied with Edmonton right now for that second wild card spot, and they just want to get in. But man, losing Logan Cooley, that's going to be tough for them. Now, do I think the Mammoths can hold off the Sharks and the Blackhawks? Probably. The Jets without Connor Hellebuck? Maybe. But that's really what it's going to come down to for Utah. You know, if I kind of look at the playoff spot, I think the top 3 teams, Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, I think are going to make the playoffs. Anaheim, Vegas, LA, Edmonton, I think are playoff teams. It's like, to me, that I kind of leave one spot, and that's Utah. There's San Jose, there's Chicago, there's Winnipeg. Suddenly the St. Louis Blues, they're 2 points out. Right? Like they're starting to win again, despite giving up goals just at a ridiculous pace right now. They're leaking a lot of goals, but they're winning some games. Seattle is on the way down, which isn't a surprise to me. I've been saying it for a while, like that, and they need to go down. The Calgary Flames, man, they might just do the most flame-like thing. And I know you can never ask players to lose, but this is on management in Calgary. Management's got to wake up and start trading off some of the guys that they know. Because the more points they're gaining now, that's just more points in the standings. Like, what are they going to do? Finish 9th again? How's that going to help them? Like, honestly, how's that going to help them? So, like I said, you can never ask players to not play their hardest. I never blame the players, ever. You're like, hey, you trying to win? Yeah, that's my job. Good. It's up to the management team. Look at your team. Like, Rasmus Anderson, we know is going to get traded. So, you're not just going to give him away. Don't get me wrong, but are you certain you're going to get more? Now, I know other teams might want to wait, but he's got a really good contract, right? So Calgary retains half. Like, he's like a $2.2 million player. Whew. That is I could see there'd be good value there, no question, real good value. So. (833-401-1440), 833-401-1440. You can text us in our eWell inbox. Got a few minutes left, but DC had tapped out, so I think Jimmy might be the winner today. We're at our A1 furnace is at $6,497 was his bid so far. But hey, we got a few minutes left. We've had late bids before. Connor Halley can tell you. It's always fun. Hey, guys, did you not see Stafford against the Seahawks defense? 150 yards, the Seahawks threw 4 interceptions. The Rams luckily won by 2 points and a missed field goal. If the Seahawks offense would have been played average, they would have crushed the Rams. Now, well, K-Fed, every game's different, man. Right? Every game is different at times. But I like the Seahawks. That's why I said I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't think the Rams are dominant to beat them. I just said that to me is like next week, that's a game to watch for. Obviously, there's some big games coming up this weekend, but that is a monster one. Obviously, tonight, Connor Halley will be a little nervous. Cons, how do you watch the game tonight? Do you just walk home and tell your wife, like, don't talk to me, I'm watching the game?
No, not even. I feel like I've chilled out a little bit because we got Benny now, so I don't want to be, what I used to be like, or I get really into games. So we'll have it on in the background. I'll probably play pass with Benny. He's got a little DJ set he likes to play on now, so we'll do that, and I'll just have the game in the background and try to stay calm.
Oh.
My message to that last texter, and fair point. Matthew Stafford did not have a amazing game, but Sam Darnold, the knock on him has always been against good defenses and good teams.
Yeah.
And not always as good. So, okay, maybe you can say all those things happened, but that Rams defense is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
and
didn't the Rams defense, you can't just say, well, if their offense was half good, they would have won. Well, yeah, but if the Rams defense was that good.
He threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
They're pretty damn good too.
And a few of them were, they were not great. Well, the one was actually a really good catch by the defender where I was like, okay, I want to tip my hat. Sometimes the defender makes a really good play, but I don't know. Cons, are you making the playoffs in your fantasy leagues?
Well, the Fantasy Frenzy one, I think Duke and I will be bowing out with our team. One looks like I got the first round bye locked up, and I think with a win in my other league, I'll have a bye as well. So,
what do you have 6 teams make the playoffs?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So the top
2 buys, and then
And what do you mean you're bowing out of your?
Just tough year for us in the Fantasy Frenzy League. MTR, loyal listener, beat us quite handily. Almost doubled us up this last week to knock us out of the playoff picture.
You're not even making the playoffs in your own league?
No. Well, and I don't want to blame the Duke, but he got the final call and drafted Terry McLaurin over Jackson Smith-Njigba, who I wanted. Got to think that would have won us a game or two throughout the season. Yeah.
Well, he chose Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
At that point, what round are we talking here? 2, 3?
Probably would have been 3 or 4. Yeah, probably 3.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah, it was. We try not to bring it up.
Is he like Tyler Wright of drafts right now? We don't want that guy. We don't want the best receiver. Like what?
I mean, hindsight, right? Hindsight.
No, but McLaren wasn't rated to be that high this year.
No, he just had a really good back half of last year.
Yeah,
but I was a little bit worried about him. No, I'm next year we won't let him make that decision.
That is a bad one.
Yeah, but you know what? He did a really good for us in the baseball league. So balance. We'll let him run the hockey league maybe next year too, and see if he can split the difference.
Did you guys trade for Justin Jefferson?
We did, yeah.
Who'd you trade?
Josh Jacobs.
Ooh. Playbook Vic just wanted. Vic, thanks for letting me know. Cons seems to leaving out a lot of key things here as to why they're losing this year. Jeez.
Well, I mean, I don't think people will care about a breakdown of our season. But
well, no, they might. So, especially if you're playing that poorly. I think they want to know.
Yeah, we got the 2 touchdown performance out of Josh Jacobs before we traded him, and he's been okay since.
Mm-hmm.
Better than Jefferson.
Oh, you traded away Jefferson?
No.
Oh.
We traded away Jacobs.
Oh.
We had good running back depth though, so
thanks.
Needed some help at receiver and quarterback problems.
All right, there you go. So, good luck to all of you who need a miracle Monday to get in their playoffs. Good luck. Maybe you need 30 points combined from Smith and running back. I don't know. What can you expect tonight from Saquon? Is he going to do anything? Because I know there's a lot of people who have him. They're wondering. So if you do, good luck. Good luck. Tomorrow we'll preview the Oilers and the Sabres, and we'll find out if Connor Halley's in a good mood or not as the Chargers have a big game. Let's get to Connor and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change, no overtime charges, and get a furnace. No payments, no interest for 1 year. LegacyHeating.ca. Congratulations, Jimmy. He won the package. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
5 games on the ice night on the NHL schedule. Early on, Leafs Lightning scoreless. Later on, you got the Mammoth and Kings, Sabres in Calgary, Canucks host the Red Wings, and the Wild taking on the Kraken in the NFL. Week 14 wraps up. Chargers Eagles from SoFi. That one gets going in about 20 minutes time. Off the field, the Indianapolis Colts will be without starting quarterback Daniel Jones for the rest of the season after he suffered a torn Achilles. With that, the Colts will work out quarterback Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers turning 44 years old and last played the NFL in 2020. Also, Washington Commanders tight end Zach Ertz will miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL. In the association, 3 games tonight. Kings trail the Pacers 46-32 in the second. In the first, the Suns have a 16-10 lead over the Timberwolves, and getting going shortly, Pelicans up against the Spurs. The Edmonton Elks have extended national kicker Vincent Blanchard through the 2027 season. He connected on 78.8% of his field goals last season. And in the AJ Whitecourt heads to Fort Mac, that gets going at 7. Coming up next year on Sports 1440, it is Fox Sports Radio. We got live local coverage resuming tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.